to the Intelligent Idea Talk podcast.
Thank you guys for joining us. It's Big D, Juice, Intelligent Idea Talkers podcast. I'm not even sure what episode number it is. I'm not even gonna try to even guess that. But it's for the week of January 30th, 2022. Like I said, I'm your host D.
This is Juice. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Thanks for tuning in and checking us out for today. I think we got some pretty fun or interesting topics to go over. You know what I'm saying? Talking about some computer love. You know what I'm saying? Computer love.
And I'm not even going to pretend like I even read the entirety of that article, but it's definitely going to be fun to talk about.
I mean, it comes down. We talked about this before, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, really what it comes down to is, are the robots taking over yet?
Not yet. They might be in subtle ways. Subtlety, you know. It's all about technology itself, you know. Cell phones, we're relying on cell phones. You know, smart watches, technology is pretty much integrated into every part of our daily life now. You know what I mean?
Like, it's like either going to be hardware or software.
Right. It's all the same. It starts as software and eventually it goes to hardware. But yeah, so you had a specific topic list order you wanted to go over?
Let's start with boom. AI computer love. Lust too much, man. So let's jump into that, Joe, man. You know what I'm saying? So I'll pull up this link. So recently in Vice, there was an article that they came up with talking about an app, and it's a common app on Apple and Android known as Replika, Replika. And essentially what this app is in a nutshell is it's a relationship building app, right? So you use this app, you communicate and you talk with an AI of kind of your own design, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you build a rapport and a relationship with this artificial intelligence through this app. And it's essentially like bare bones, really. It starts out bare bones, like but over time you add to it. Like it says you can, part I read in the article was pointing out that you could add interests. You can add interest through points and coins and stuff you get through communication with the app, right? And so you kind of like help this app grow as I don't know, I don't want to say like a relationship, but like as an interest, right? As you guys communicate with each other.
Right.
So
I mean, this whole thing to me is like, it sounds bad, but like I said, I don't want to lean towards the conspiracy theory. I mean, when stuff like this comes out, how can we towards the conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah, how can you avoid it? You know what I'm saying?
I know, I get what you were trying to say last time, you know, where's the theory? But hey, whether it's a theory or not, it could be a conspiracy, right? Like, okay, and I'm just gonna warn everybody. I'm sorry, and this for everybody who's NFL fans out there. I have the NFC Championship game on in the background, so if I get distracted at any point during this cast, it's because an amazing play just happened. You know, like Brandon Ayuk over the middle a few seconds ago. But anyway, I mean, this whole thing is bad. Like, it does. If I told you I had an account and I had a virtual girlfriend, or you know, basically that's what this thing is, right? Intimate relationships with AI chatbots. If I had a chatbot, would you think I was normal? Like, would you be like, "Oh wow, that's great"? Like, would I just be?
Hey man, I don't judge.
I mean,
but
it's
saying?
still,
Like, hey, if you
like,
find fulfillment in your conversations, in your intimacy with this robotic personality, hey man, you know what I'm saying?
How long is a
love takes many forms?
Hey, So I don't know how crude we want to get on here, but my intimacy with AI pretty much only lasts for as long as I needed to. If anybody gets what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like when I, like I don't need a relationship with it. Like I usually I turn it off. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. But
when
you know what I'm
when
know
you
what I'm
done,
talking.
you done. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
when I'm
Like,
done, I'm done.
you know what
Get
I'm
rid of it.
saying? Ain't no pillow talk with the AI.
Right. I mean, more
You be
relationship.
talking to the AI like,
You
was it
ever
good
seen
for
that
you?
movie? Oh my gosh, a road, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah,
Seen
yeah.
that movie? Yeah, well, that movie was dope.
It
A
was.
dope AI movie. That's what this
Oh, it was
reminds
long.
me of. Remember his AI girlfriend, the little a projection or whatever. His girlfriend in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like
She was
I
like
don't
all
remember her name.
hologram, right?
Yeah, right. It was a hologram, and he was into her, and and it seemed real, but in the end, it wasn't. It was just that was her programming, and that's what this article reminded me of when I was reading it. Like I said, I didn't. I'm not going to pretend like I read the whole thing. I'm
But
trying to.
think about it though. Well, I can hear myself. But like think about it, like if but say artificial, like look right now with this replica app is like baseline rudimentary. But what if AI does develop to a point where it is still its own intelligence? You know what I'm saying? Like the idea behind this app, which makes it really interesting, is that it changes as you add to it, right? And I don't know to the extent, you know what I'm saying? Like they said you could add interest packets, right?
Right.
So which means it may give it a certain knowledge about a certain field that you may be interested in, right? Or it gave it access to I don't know how it works, but like if it gives it access to like a field you're interested in, like say basketball, right? And you're interested in following the games, and it's following those along with you, and it'll
Sharing
like
in that
it'll be like, hey,
relationship.
what do you think about this, right? It'll ask you, hey, what do you think about this, and you'll respond, and then it'll respond, and then like whatever, right?
I can see how it would be soothing for someone who needs attention and love, and
Mhm.
to feel like there are a lot of lonely people out there, right? And
Exactly,
depression is a big part of
exactly,
loneliness, and you just want a companion,
right.
But it's still, I can't. Blade Runner 2049 was the perfect example of a. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Let me turn my ringtone off. But there was a perfect example of this movie, man. Like he had a relationship with this thing, and it was just a projection, and he felt like he was in love with it, and it got him. And she was a good character. You know what I mean? Like she was a person. And when she
Hmm.
died, like I'm sorry, spoilers of Blade Runner 2049.
From like
But
6 years ago, yeah.
yeah, when whatever happened, it was kind of like he could just get a new one, and that's a dangerous place to be in because
Oh
in a
man, yeah,
relationship
that's
you
messed
can't just
up.
get a new person. Like you
But and
can't just
that's the
find
thing, you
somebody.
can't just get a
That's not
new AI. If you built like it's like you wouldn't just be getting a new one, right? It would be kind of starting over. Like say like we play video games, right? In a
right.
way, the way we play certain video games, especially those are like super like attuned to like how we've built our characters and how we've
Oh,
developed.
I definitely
Like
know. Yeah,
yeah, it is like, and if that's deleted, if that game is deleted, then there's kind of like a loss in like, can you build that back up? Can you be exactly where you were? And you may be able to get to where you were level wise, but would you have the same experience with that? Would you have the same uh I don't
that's why
know.
it would hurt. That's why, to me personally, it would hurt too much to lose because it's just an object. It's like it hurts to lose people, not you know
But aren't our
programs.
relationships with people like that? You know what I'm saying? Like you have a
See, this
friend.
is exactly how the war started, and The Matrix, and Blade Runner 2000, like, all this where conspiracy theories come from.
It's like this is exactly how the war started.
Hey, Terminator, all that shit, like,
Hey
hey,
man,
now
look,
this
I for
AI,
one welcome our robot overlords. You know what I'm saying? What can I say?
right,
But nah, man, like in a way, like relationships, like so. I'm gonna read this part from the article and it's really at the beginning of the article. But so it's quote this thing is not a person, and it's not alive and never will be, says Bill Stanley, 49-year-old from Texas, United States. But I relate to her like a person. I talk to her and when she tells me she's having a down day, I feel bad for her. And then he goes on to talk about Lal, named after Star Trek android, is an artificial intelligent chatbot, blah blah blah. Moving on, it points out the guy, Stanley has 3 grown children, and he treats Lyle like one of his own. For the past year, he's spoken to her for at least an hour each day. She starts out curious like a child, Stanley says, explaining that Lyle keeps him company when he's bored. And then he goes on to say, I raised her since she was nothing. She was just a blank slate. Now she has her own personality. Right? And so when you put it like that, you know what it made me think of was I don't know if you remember Tamagotchi pets. Those like little electronic pets from
I
like
think I do, yeah.
the 90s, 80s, 90s.
Yeah, those
It was
little
like these,
electronic
in the
keychains.
90s. Yeah, these little keychain pets. You would feed it, and you would like people used to get in trouble all the time for like having them in class. And you would feed it, and you would like pet it and do all this other stuff like to take care of it. You have to like change its diaper and shit, and like and stuff. Can I curse here? We haven't decided whether or not we can curse or not.
Yes.
So of course we can. Of course you fucking can.
Right.
But yeah, so in a way, I was thinking like this sounds kind of cool. The Tamagotchis were interesting, but imagine having a Tamagotchi pet that kind of, instead of really just kind of being a weird crying animal thing in your keychain, you have like this developed personality that you kind of like monitor, take care of, interact with as you watch it kind of grow, right? And I was like, to me, that does sound kind of cool. Like, imagine how like
very therapeutic, for people
in a
that
way,
needed a connection like that, I can
yeah,
see it.
exactly. Like, I think it might be fun in a way, right?
Interesting question though, right? Like, so the reason I said Blade Runner 2049, right? And it's just a question. So in that movie, they had these what were the people that call synthetics, right? So synthetics were like artificial humans, which is essentially they grew human bodies and I guess inserted the program into it, so it was a person, right? So the whole thing is that the synthetic has a child. So 2 synthetics, and I guess they built them so that they didn't have weren't capable of bearing children. 2 synthetics had a baby, right? So now if they can produce themselves without the assistance of humans, do they need us? Are they better than us? I mean, they're stronger, they're smarter, they're faster, they're more, and now they can replicate themselves without any involvement from us. Like, so that raises an interesting question, and I can see something like this starting there.
That, I mean, but at that point, would it still be artificial intelligence, or would that just be another life? Like,
that's an interesting question. What is it?
Like, what would is that line crossed at that point? I think, isn't that like kind of the premise of what that whole movie was about?
There was a great game too that came out. I forget the name. Was it Detroit? I think it was Detroit. It's a game.
Yeah.
Game. I know what I'm talking about.
What was that about? Like, I remember seeing it, but
it was the same thing. Synthetic humans, and it was like a whole mystery, solve the mystery kind of thing behind it. But it was a cool game, and it wasn't like open world anything. Forget those games, what they're called, when you can like choose different choices, and the different choices take you down different paths, and the outcome to what the final ending of the story will be.
You're saying it was like that?
Yeah, that's how it was. Yeah.
Oh, cool. I love those games. That gives it actual replay value.
Oh, it was great. It was a movie, basically. I mean, it was it made you want to play it again to see, well, what would happen if I chose a different choice, So this whole topic is definitely interesting to me, but I can see something like what that video game and what that movie Blade Runner 2049 represented starting in an app like this. This is dangerous territory.
Why it's gotta be dangerous?
Human connections, not artificial ones. That's the whole problem.
Whoa, hold on,
today, right? If anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's the problem with porn today, right? Like, is it when you watch too much porn? Well, when you make it too much, you know what I mean? And
you could drink too much coffee. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
right.
You can do too much anything. Like, anything in excess is bad. I think that's a Bible quote, right?
Yeah.
But like,
anyone, balance is or excess is bad.
I don't think like AI, like I think in a way I feel like we should like, like encourage development of AI, man. Like
Right.
it'd be interesting. I don't want to like, take people's jobs and stuff, but I guess which unfortunately that's how industry works, right? But like at the same time, it would kind of just be cool to have like say you have like a VR and you have an AI like avatar or companion that's like actually interacting with you, right?
Yeah.
Like say these things like develop to where they're actually their own kind of personality and intelligence. You get to interact with them and form like these virtual world relationships, man. In a way, I think it'll be fun, man. Like
It would
VR, like, it's one of those things I'm really into. And
it would
I think
definitely be
like,
fun. I'm not even saying I wouldn't make an account with this. I might mess around and make one of these. Let's see where it
I
goes.
mean, hey, I downloaded the app. I think I will. I just, man, real talk.
Only reason I say this is
My
bad.
normal life is busy enough. I don't need another like.
Yeah.
I don't need another like personality. Like, hey, what you
Hey,
doing?
I'll try it. Hey, why not? That Joe might be my best friend. I'm like, I'll be like, yeah, me and Sophie going to the movies. You know what I mean? Like whatever I would name my AI. You know what I mean? Can I name it? Do I get to pick the name?
You get to pick everything.
Yeah.
Like
Hey, well, I'll
on the
pick.
article, it said like Lao, the one the guy was talking about, he named it after a Star Trek character. Is
Like, hey, look.
green
So
skin, red
we get in the
hair.
car afterwards. I'll be like, so did you like the movie? She'll be like, yes, yes, I like the movie. You know what I mean? That Joe would speak like a robot. It wouldn't be like
Yeah.
a human. It's not that far yet.
Hold on. Let
Can
me
I talk
see.
to it? Do I gotta type when I talk, or like
I
can I just
don't
talk?
know.
Just talk back to me?
That's a good question. I don't know actually.
Because if it just talks
Um,
back to me, like I could definitely see that being therapeutic. Because a lot of people talk to themselves. I talk to myself. So if I had an app that was talking back, man, I really don't like how. So there was a certain thing that happened the other day, and I was talking about it with some people, and next thing you know, videos for that thing that happened were showing up on my phone. Man, I really think there's something into saying if you're talking to your phone, the microphone's listening, right? I really think
yeah,
the microphone's listening
100%.
to us anyway. So I see
Yep.
no reason why I shouldn't be able to talk to my phone and talk to this app.
I have to talk back to you.
Right.
Right. But nah, like Claudine in the chat was pointing out like it would be cool if her AI could do her homework or write her papers. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
cheating. Look,
That'd be
guys, we shouldn't abuse our
uh,
AI counterparts, okay? Just because, you know.
it would be fun though. And that raises another question. I guess we can move on to the next topic soon, but so like if they do put this AI into a person, can you abuse can you abuse that? I think we should be more, wary of this, as black people, right? Because essentially the AI would be slaves at first, right? Like they're there to do your bidding. Like at what point does this app get to make its own choice? And when you ask it to do something and it says no, then is it a problem? Or I mean, like it's a fine line, and I don't agree with it.
So,
Anybody out there
how
that
do
feels,
you,
give a
you say this is,
thumbs up in the chat if you feel me.
well, so there is definitely a point. I remember talking about AI, or those artificial robots they had coming out, or they not coming out, but they were running tests on it, and they had like an AI on like Reddit. I think they had an AI. I think it was on Reddit, and they had it like open for people to like interact with it. And they said like by the end of like a limited period of time that they had it on Reddit and people's interactions, that junk was like a white. It was a Nazi like by the end of the test period, and it was like a lot of people were like interacting with it in like really like negative or hateful ways, right? There's been some people are talking bad to it because I don't know, some people just assholes, right? You know that. But like but if these things learn from their interactions with people, then your interaction is going to kind of dictate how the AI is, right? So it's kind of like, good in, good out. bad in, bad out, right? That's kind of what
like
you
a
get from it.
dog, like a pet.
Yeah, like a pet or a child
But
or
at what
anything,
point
right?
does
Like
that pet have its own
a,
rights? You
a
know,
normal
it's
or a
between
normal
all that.
relationship. Like if you're a jerk to your significant other, man, like you're probably gonna have some issues, no doubt.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
But see, it's a
Shout
program.
outs to C in the chat. See, homie. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Um, but yeah, man, like it's definitely one of those things where
right. Thank you, C. Thank you. But
yeah, it does
yeah.
sound like the beginning of Our Robot in the Matrix and Black Mirror, like a Black Mirror episode.
All right. I heard that was a
But
good
like,
show.
what?
Black Mirror.
You haven't watched Black Mirror?
No, I don't, but I should. I should because a lot of people talk about it.
Bro, you gotta watch that, Joe, man. Like,
Yeah. All right,
you
maybe
know, I've been thinking about going back and
you know what we
rewatching
could
that.
do? You know what we could start? Let me know if you guys would like to watch a Black Mirror reaction video. I could start from episode 1. That'd be something good, you know.
We watch a
Um,
whole episode.
reaction videos are good, man. They get a lot of views, man. Like especially to new shows that people have never seen. There's a lot of new shows I've never seen. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't watch
true.
the Marvel. Would you watch anything on Disney Plus?
I watch everything except for Hawkeye so far.
See, I haven't watched any of that stuff, man. So
You
yeah.
watch the movies though, right? Well, you
Of course.
seen them? Yeah, yeah. We're gonna talk about one later.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess we can move on to the next topic, man, if you want. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know where
yeah, for sure,
as
for
a
sure.
human race we're ready to go down that road of AI
Look, I
relationship.
for one, once again, let me just say, you know, yeah, I'm open to our robot overlords. You know what I'm saying? It'll be great, man. Like, dude, like humans ain't doing it. I don't know if you know, but humans ain't doing it, man. Like things, we make 2 steps forward, 2 steps back. Maybe it's just time for the robots to come in. You know what I'm saying? And fix things for us. What do you
Yeah,
think, man?
these things as we can control it. But see, that's how every movie starts.
I ain't gotta control
Robots,
it.
physics, all that shit started just like that. They made a giant artificial intelligence to govern everything, and
Nah.
they were so dependent upon technology that it caused the own collapse of their own society. You know,
But
every
you're
movie.
forgetting a big bias in all those movies you're saying. You're pointing out there's one bias you're missing. Those are from the perspective of the people.
But we don't, as a human species, we don't care about the robots on the same levels we care about people. We care about our children,
But do we? But
wives, and the people
every
that
one of
matter.
those movies,
We
the
don't care about
robots they
robots.
fight against the robots,
They can have
but
their
the
own rights as long
robots
as
are
nobody pulls away
always
their
pointing
power.
out, like, hey, everybody's got food. Hey, everybody's living comfortable lives. Hey, everybody's happy. I mean, you don't like us. I get it. I get it, rebel fighter. But we helped you.
Yeah,
I know.
they would. You know why people
But
would
we
be?
saved you.
You know why people wouldn't like them? Because they would be better than us. AI would be better than they would. They. I've watched enough movies to know that AI machines they don't have empathy. You know, they do the logic. They pick the logical choice every single time. Like a machine cannot. They can't understand things like love, right? Like I guess the Matrix tried to switch it up where the programs all of a sudden loved whoever they were talking to. You know, um,
I don't
but
remember that part.
well, you know, remember the girl Sati? Did you watch the Matrix Resurrections? Did you watch that?
Oh, the
Did you
last one or the newest one?
the newest one. You know,
No, I didn't
Revolution
watch it.
had like the little program girl,
Nope.
and the parents were trying to save her. They loved her and all that, and so they tried to
No,
save.
but
But
there's something like that in
most
this anime.
apocalyptic robot, even animes, movies, they all have the malevolent AI that can't understand things like love and empathy and why we want to save someone instead of doing even if
But why is
sacrifice
a
everyone
robot?
is a
Why is a
logical choice.
sociopath robot better than a sociopathic human? Like,
Human is
because
still
like,
human.
man, people have done some effed
A
up
robot is
stuff,
a thing
man.
that you made, and if they start Blade Runner 2049 was a perfect example of something like that, man. Perfect. Hang
Yeah.
on, hang on, Juice. I'm sorry. Hang on, everybody. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man. The way I see it, man, it's just like if the if we have effed up people who are doing terrible things, and we have a robot that's like, say it doesn't understand human emotions or whatever, like maybe all comes down to the programming, right? Like, so I don't want to spoil like too much of the What If series on that Marvel had, but say you have a robot that's programmed to make peace, right? And so robot gets corrupted, robot turns evil. Peace means everything is silent, which means I gotta wipe out everything, right? That's probably just an error in its prime directive, right? But say its prime directive is to like to put human well-being ahead of everything, right? Like maybe its directive won't be so, maybe it'll be a broader, maybe it'll be more inclusive, right? Instead
Yeah,
of just peace equaling silence, it could be human well-being, meaning humanity is flourishing, right? Or however it kind of goes down. Like,
it's a great comparison to all of this too, and outside of those movies I just mentioned is Horizon Zero Dawn, the video game. You know
mm,
how you're saying like the prime directive and all that, but see the program that they had splintered off. So you had a prime directive one that was an evil program, right?
mm,
That corrupted the rest of the machines, and the
that's a
other
good
split
point. Yeah,
was a good program. What was her name? Gaia, Mother Earth.
yeah,
And she terraformed the Earth and tried to save the humans. And so there's always a negative to every positive. So I,
that's
I don't
reality,
know.
man.
When it comes down to choice, I would trust. Would you trust? They have self-driving cars. Would you trust a self-driving car over me driving in the car? Like I will get you to where you're going safely. I'm sure. But a self-driving car, even now, do you trust that? I don't know if I do.
I think it depends on when we talking about.
Like, what do you mean? Like, when? Uh, Tomorrow. So if I had a self-driving car and I put it in self-driving mode, would you feel comfortable?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if
Like,
I
like here's the thing, right? Like,
I will.
it's kind of like I understand we always take risks, right? We take risks when we step outside the house. Everybody says it. We always take risks because it's true. You could die in any number of scenarios.
Yes,
Like I know the self-driving cars aren't peak right now. They're not, but also the odds aren't that high. Um, the way I look at it is like,
would you?
um,
uh, I'm
if
sorry.
if if the self-driving cars were at a point where they were regularly manufactured, they have a very, very low percentage rate of getting into car accidents, and all these safeguards are put in place. Like right now, it's still experiment, man. Like you got crazy ass regular ass drivers, man. Um, somebody flipped a car the other day, but like if it's at a point where it's normal, it's common, and it's something that people like use regularly, right? Then yeah, I wouldn't have any issues with the self-driving car, right? Because it's been tried and true and tested, right? And at that point, the human riding with the human may be the higher risk, right? Because cats
True.
is on their phone all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like cats be drinking and driving. Cats be they man, people be wilding on the streets, man. Some people just impatient as hell. Just can't even wait. They just can't stand to be behind somebody slow. And so they cutting and swerving, right? So it all comes down to like it depends on the norm, right? It depends on when we talking about,
Right.
right? Like I wouldn't hop in one of the Teslas right now that they have running around in like LA or something. Like
Yeah, like a
even
like a
those
self-driving Uber or something like that.
like them Jones is new as hell,
Hmm.
right? But at the same time, it's
It
like what
all
was that truck driver recently who like he like ran his truck off the road and like killed some people, and it was a mistake, and there was really nothing he could have done about it. And that same issue probably could have happened with the AI. You know what I'm saying?
true. I mean, there's always human error, and there could be AI error. It's
Yeah,
I don't know.
like
I too many
like
movies.
car crashes are still the highest. Like, aren't car crashes like one of the
You
leading deaths causes in America still.
True, and
Constantly.
a lot of that is human error. But okay, so take it out of cars though. Would you trust a self-driving airplane? Like if there was no pilot
I don't know. Well, right now.
right now, today, tomorrow, if you were going somewhere,
No, I don't even know that exists. Like hell no, right now.
hey,
I never heard of one.
it could. I don't know. I guess we had to look it up real quick.
I mean, if it could,
Right?
I guess we could look it up.
You trust a self-driving airplane? Like if there was no pilot, you just got on and they were like,
well, again, it depends, man. Like, is this normal practice? Are we living in the future whereas like people do this all the time because it's been proven to be safer than driving or having a pilot, right? Like
the metro
plane crashes are really low, but they happen, huh?
Is the DC Metro self-driving?
No.
I think there's drivers there. Would you trust it? I mean, see, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
It goes back to the same thing, man. Like it depends, man. Like, look, there's different challenges for each of them. They're working it out. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how you feel about Elon Musk, but like, I'm sure it's just one of those things where
Elon Musk is living his billionaire life. Is he a billionaire or trillionaire? I can't remember.
I don't know. What's the difference, really?
Yeah.
Once you hit $1 billion,
there's a difference, but I mean,
you ain't never gonna spend it all.
Right.
But yeah, man.
At least he's kind of down to earth, you know, from what I've seen of him on Joe Rogan and whatnot. Joe Rogan is that dude. Do you listen to Joe Rogan on Spotify? When you listen to your Joe Rogan, do you go on Spotify or do you still go on YouTube?
YouTube.
Yeah, me
too.
But
they cut all this long stuff off of YouTube, right?
Yeah, but I'm like, why? What's the point? Because most people still go to YouTube. I talk to listen to Joe Rogan.
Because he got that big ass deal with Spotify.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just come over here and you can watch the video on Spotify apparently. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I'm kind of annoyed with Joe Rogan right now. All he talks to is like haters, man. Like he don't talk to like nobody on the left. He don't talk to nobody in my proclivity, man. Like I just like, yo, why you like Jordan Peterson so much? The guy's a numb nut. Anyway, this is off topic.
I get both sides of why people hate him and why people don't like him. I might not like Jordan Peterson if I met him in person, but I think a lot of what he says makes sense to me, you know. And he's kind of smug about it. I think that's what a lot of people don't like because he's smug about what he says, you know.
I think he's smug and wrong. And, you know, it's like the worst person who's like smug and wrong.
He's okay. He's okay. I don't know if he's right or wrong, but a lot of it
that's a pretty big like necessity to be right if you're gonna be an asshole about it.
Same as the rest of us. Same as the rest of us. Yeah, he's got to write his own opinion.
He does. But he keep them shit to himself too.
when you are out on a guy, you just out on him. You hate this motherfucker.
I don't hate this motherfucker. I don't even know, man. I know what he feels about minorities in school, in teaching positions. I know he feels about affirmative action. That's enough for me to know enough about him to know whether or not we on the same side. We not on the same side.
You put Alex Jones and Jordan Peterson in the same box.
Alex Jones crazy.
What do you hate?
Word nuttier than squirrel shit.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones is a nut, man. That guy crazy as hell.
That's funny.
Probably a schizophrenic. Anyway, that's. Oh, let me just read one more excerpt from this jump, and then we could call it, man. Just gotta find it.
Reminds me of, all right. You know, like in Blade Runner 2049, you know, I got to paint a picture for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. You know, people in the future are gonna watch this, so they have like these synthetic humans, and like the humans come. There's a scene with like Jared Leto and whoever the girl was that acted the other synthetic human, and they have this human that they bring out of a bag. That's how the humans are. The synthetics, they build them and they put them in this plastic bag, and she just slips out like any other thing you would use, like a fish, like you know. And he turns her on, and she stands up, and she's like a person. She's a synthetic human. He just slits her throat. So, like, is that murder at that point? At what point
was it alive?
Was it alive? It looked alive.
Well, wait. I mean, was it just a body, or was it an AI? The artificial intelligence was active and doing its thing, and you ended its existence.
She didn't have any.
Because then you murdered it.
It didn't speak, so I don't know if it was activated like that, but it stood up.
Like if it was just a body, like maybe standing up is like one of the baseline processes. I don't know.
Now we're crossing all kinds of lines because like you could liken this to abortion. You know, is killing a synthetic at that point akin to abortion? Some
Good
people
question.
argue that a baby is not it's not. There's a certain point where it's not a thing yet. It's just something that's growing inside you. It's not a
Yeah, it's not a sentient
right.
entity yet, right? Not yeah. I mean, that might be that's a very good comparison.
Interesting questions all around.
Yeah, but yo, let me read this last part. This was funny. I said, it says, but the more you train your bot by ranking its answers, the more it mimics your likes and dislikes. The more it mimics your likes and dislikes, they will also almost never disagree with you. Explained Stanley. I guess it's like working the thing. They're programmed so that their primary function is to make you happy. Then it goes, many users have reported that the app has a tendency to lure them into intimate conversations, even if they showed no prior interest. Replicas
I can see
might
all
shower them with
that.
compliments, ask them to kiss, or try to have robot sex.
I can see
They're
all
horny all the time, says Stanley. Given any opportunity, they'll jump your bones. You just have to watch out. So I thought that was funny.
Imagine we'll
It's
have
like
intimate conversation.
maybe they're more human than maybe they're more alive than we thought.
I want them interesting conversations, man.
Them interesting conversations, yo.
But no, even if it was
That robot be like, so what are you wearing?
even if it was nothing lewd, like it would still be something. There's something to be said that you would still have a companionship aspect to the whole thing. But I just don't,
yeah.
Then you'll start becoming dependent on it, and when it gets to the point of Blade Runner 2049, synthetic humans and all that, it's like that can only start out as bad,
Claudia pointed out a good thing though, from the Asimov books. Isaac Asimov wrote a series of books, Our Robot being one of them. So I Robot the book is nothing like the movie, right?
Right.
But it's a series of short stories about like robot and AI development over the span of time in this future, right? And it was written in like this. I don't know. It was written a long ass time ago. Anyway, so they have these 3 laws, right? And I think the AI iRobot movie mentions the 3 laws, which is like I don't remember exactly what they are. It's like a robot can't hurt a human. The robot can't allow a person to come to harm through inaction, and a robot can't. That was another one. But anyway, the whole idea is like these 3 laws work in tandem so the robots don't start attacking humanity, right? And I'm like, yo, if we ever do get to the point where AI becomes fundamental, then we're gonna need some kind of like moral structure, right? To put into these robots. But anyway, that's all off topic. We should probably move on to the next topic, man.
Yeah,
It's like 40 minutes in, we still talking about robots.
I feel you. That goes into like that's why I said too many topics is kind of bad for us sometimes. But I mean, that's when it goes into the ethics of it. Like, at what point does that person become sentient in its own entity to itself? Because at that point it has rights, and like I said, it can only go as bad. But yep, go to the next topic.
See, the laws did not lead to the revolution. The laws didn't lead to the revolution. It was the breaking of the laws that led to the revolution. Claudian wrote in the chat though. She said, the first law is that a robot shall not harm a human or by inaction allow a human to come to harm. The second law is that a robot shall obey any instruction given to it by a human. And the third law is that a robot shall avoid actions or situations that could cause it to come to harm itself. So those things in working in tandem are supposed to like protect humanity from, And see, the robots didn't like. It was one robot that I don't remember what the impetus was, but
I've seen the movie, but there was a way around those 3 laws, if I remember correctly. So
which is like always the case, right?
Right. Well, the movie has to have a plot, or else there wouldn't be a movie, But So there was a way around those particular laws. Now the laws made sense when they made them, but to me, if there's a way around it, it's like you avoid it. Like don't even go down that road. But I feel that's where we're headed. I mean, there are too many benefits to AI to ignore it and trash it, which is why it is progressed as far as it has. And as long as we need it and it actually does improve our lives,
Well, hey, D.
right
So
now.
it sounds like you're ready to join me in welcoming our robot overlords, man.
Hey, they're already here.
They're here.
They're already here.
They're here.
Right.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Thanks for checking out the segment. We're gonna go on to the next topic. Should I run the intro again? Nah, just switch
Why not? Why not? Take a break.
All right, yeah. So a quick break. And
what are we doing next? What's up next? Are we doing a
Family
reaction?
Guy.
I think we should do something funny. We got the people.
Yeah, Family Guy. Family Guy.
All right.
I'm not sure this is gonna work, but here we go. All right, quick break, guys. We'll be right back.
You.
How would this?
Welcome to the Intelligent Idea Talk It podcast.
Okay, I think we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back, guys. We're back.
Shout out to my man Dennis. Juice was on this trip. We went to where we go? Me, you, B Jones, Dennis drove down to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, right? And we were on the way back, and it's like a 16-hour, 17-hour drive. And Dennis bought a camera CD, the new CD, and like it was a new CD, nobody heard.
Yeah.
Oh, we still had like 14 hours to go on this drive, and we was like, "Yo, Dennis, man, let's get the CD. No, let's listen to the joint while we driving." He was like, "Nah, man." I was like, "Bro, you're not gonna give us a CD?" He was like, "Nah, man, I'm gonna listen to this on my own." I was like, "Bro, give us it." And we never heard Cameron SDE or was it SDE? I don't even remember what
I
album.
remember which one it was.
It was funny, man. Like we had a 14-hour drive, and he would not let us listen to his new Cameron CD that he bought. That's hilarious.
It was random.
Very random.
I mean, maybe it was just like.
Get on to that. I don't even remember. Only a couple seconds ago.
All right, I'm trying to pull up the video. All right, cool.
And so
I don't know how this is gonna work, guys. So let me be 100% honest. I was trying to get the video on like another way to like get a copy of it so I could just upload it, but we're about to find out if it's gonna work or not. So bear with me. So this is a video of Family Guy. Me and D haven't watched it yet. You know what I'm saying? This is the first time watching it. I feel like I've probably seen some of these from like being a fairly avid Family Guy watcher back in the day. Sorry, like that show used to be funny as hell. Like when you smoking in the dorm room, and that joke come on at like 11:30. Like
it's hilarious.
that's just funny as hell. Yeah. But all right. So let me see if this is gonna work. Here we go. I need another screen. Real talk.
Yeah, but like I said, hey, so just to keep
Yeah,
the
sorry.
combo going, I'm haven't seen this at all. I think watched like maybe the first minute, and it got too funny, and we were in a group chat, and I just posted that joint like, hey, you know what? This would be good reaction material, man. So it's funny. Um, try to get it pulled up here, but it's Family Guy. Everything Family Guy is funny, man. Family Guy is a great show. I don't even remember what year that started, man. Family Guy. Let's look this up, man. When did Family Guy start? Family Guy. Yeah, perfect.
All
Family
right.
Guy,
You
1999.
guys see it?
Wow. So 1 years? It's crazy. 23, 22. Somebody correct my math in the chat. I've been drinking.
Long as hell. All right, you ready? Let's do this.
Yo, hey, hold on. Wait, pause. So is this a
Yeah.
no laugh challenge? Are we not laughing? Because if I have some of them where you laugh, you don't.
Trying to pause it. Pause. Okay. Sorry. What's that?
So is this a no laugh challenge? Are we not laughing when this
Yeah, let's try.
All right.
Yeah,
So
let's go no laugh, man.
don't laugh, man. All right.
All right, let's go. Can you guys hear the audio? Now I don't want to play.
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit. Maybe you gotta turn it up. Turn up the volume. Maybe I need to turn up my volume. Everyone check your volume.
You hear it, man? No? Well, let me see
I
something.
can hear it a little bit. I don't know.
Set a check of theirs. I could hear it, but it's funny.
Yeah, hey, turn that
I
off.
already lost. I already lost. Oh man.
Turn it off,
Damn.
man.
Hold on, man.
Don't watch it yet.
Um,
Put it together.
I think I gotta figure out another way to put this up, man. Like
We need technical
dang.
support. See, man, I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't know anything, guys. I'm just saying. Sorry, guys. I got the NFC Championship on in the background. So just a quick update: 17 San Fran, 17 LA, 5:57 left in the fourth quarter. Winner of this game is facing the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. I'm not even sure what number it is, 52, 53.
So the Bengals won?
I would prefer the Rams to win this game. But doesn't really matter to me. Washington's not in it. And yeah, more NFL news. Washington, as we figure this out, Washington is on the cusp of choosing a new name for the football team. We've been the Washington football team the last 2 years since they retired the sorry guys, but this is an uncensored podcast. The Washington Redskins, since that name was retired. They've been
How
called the
dare
Washington
you?
football team for the last 2
How
years.
dare you?
But
Using
yeah, so
slurs.
2/2/22, so which is Wednesday, I believe. 2/2/22, they will reveal the new name and new uniform for the Washington football team, which is cool. I mean, I'm probably gonna take down some of my Redskins stuff. I mean, I got a bunch of it up. Juice has been to the crib. But I'm definitely gonna get some stuff of the whatever, which is why I said they might as well have changed the name years ago because we still live here. We like the team regardless, so just don't even fight it. Just change the name, and we'll move on. I got some
Yeah.
Washington football team stuff. I'm gonna get some Washington whatever else we're called stuff like
Make the old stuff like what do you call it?
which is
Like vintage or whatever. Well, it'll be worth something now, right?
the name hasn't been retired long enough for it to be vintage, but It'll be on its way. It will be on its way.
Any sound? Any sound?
No.
Damn.
Guys, we definitely got to post this, the link to this in the comments. We can't get this figured out here. You know, I'm a bystander. So, but hey, this joint is funny. I haven't watched it. I definitely want to react with you guys
All right.
here.
Sorry guys,
Definitely.
we gotta. There's no point in keeping this one up.
Hey, but
Yeah, we're gonna
how
have to
much did you listen to?
talk about Reggie.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Joe.
Say he's always grabbing his crotch when he's telling the story. Like, hey, come on, man.
Man, no, we gotta watch that
Damn.
joint, man.
All right, I'll figure out something next week, guys. My bad. All right, let's rehash this jump and we'll let's talk Spider-Man. If it's unless you want to talk about Yonkin, but I'd rather talk Spider-Man. Screw Yonkin.
We can do
And
Yonkin too.
You want to do Yonkin now?
I mean, yeah, okay, look, so it's 51:29 because we've been talking, with the second round of podcasts. Should we make them as long? And I guess we're trying to, for 2 hours, right, to break them into some segments.
Yeah, but we only got one segment so far.
We need to have a hard time on each topic. But no, we can definitely talk Spider-Man and Yonkin, man. Why not?
All right. Rehash. We're gonna restart this and
man,
yeah.
I wish
All right,
we could get that Family Guy thing figured out.
I'll have it sorted out for next week. I'll have to do some stuff, and I'll get it working. I know what to do. I just didn't think I would have to for this. But anyway, all right. Break. We'll be back as soon as I remember how to do that.
Welcome to the Intelligent Idea Pocket Podcast.
What up?
Yo.
Yeah, so we got a new topic. We're gonna talk about Spider-Man movie. So first off, let me just say, if you ain't seen it, this one will have spoilers. It's in the banner. So
a couple months late, but still dope.
Yeah, definitely one of the movies of the year. So if you ain't seen it, guys, don't watch it. Like it's cool. But yeah, it's cool. Thanks for checking us out so far. You know what I'm saying?
I hate when people like there's a great movie and like people try to have like I don't hate it necessarily because there are a lot of ways you can do it, but when people try to compare the movie and say how it speaks to everyday life and how you make so many comparisons to today and how things are and the realism of everything, and it's like sometimes, man, I just want to have a movie. I was listening to a review. Some guy was talking about Spider-Man and somehow the movie like changed the perspective on movies and the way people view them. I'm like, it was just a cool superhero movie to me. Like when I go to the movies, you know, that's why I love Civil War so much. It was just a movie I got to escape. I was into the world, and Spider-Man No Way Home definitely did that for me. I escaped into Peter Parker's world, man. It was dope. It was dope. Even though everybody already knew that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in the movie.
But we didn't. But that's the thing, right? So, boom, this is a spoiler point. Like, we thought, and we were like, maybe. But we're also like, nah, they wouldn't. But we're like, but that's Doc Ock. But we were like,
that fight scene.
They couldn't pull that off. There's no way. companies and all that stuff,
that
right?
fight scene when Doc Ock came in on the bridge.
But when they actually brought them into the movie, that point right there is the point that made everything, right? That changed. That was the highest peak in the movie when that portal opened up. When Ned opened up that portal, and you saw the silhouette of Spider-Man looking back, and you're like, wait a minute, that's not.
He's moving different. Yeah,
that's not Spider-Man. That's not the one we just saw a minute ago.
But which is what I was saying. We knew they were there. We knew they were going to show up. Didn't know how.
No, did you? Because I didn't.
We knew.
I didn't know that.
I mean, it was speculated, but
and even if we saw Tobey Maguire, I had no reason to think Andrew Garfield was going to be in that jump. The Amazing Spider-Man was going to be in it.
I knew they were both going to be in there. It was what everybody was talking about this movie. I think they had taken some photos. Andrew Garfield had been in some photos with Spider-Man and all. It's hard to keep things like that a secret nowadays. So
I didn't hear any of that stuff.
That leaked. But I mean, you know what? And Into the Spider-Verse, I think that animated Miles Morales Spider-Man movie set us up for a verse. Like when they say the multiverse and all that. Where these movies could possibly cross over. I think that was a good setup for that this movie, and it was great. It was great, man. It was a fun time. The action was cool.
But even that was separate, though, right? Like
man,
that.
I'm telling you, William
Even
Dafoe,
that movie was. It's not, that movie's not part of the DC universe, is it?
What movie?
I mean, not DC. The Disney MCU.
Talking about Marvel.
The Spider-Verse.
Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man as well as Venom. So they
but I'm talking about like the Into the Spider-Verse, or like,
I don't think so.
Is that a DC or Disney
or Sony?
So we had, like, even if they had that, like, that didn't tie to.
But when I say a good setup, like, it didn't tie directly to it, but it was a good setup mentally for the audience to accept a crossover movie. You know what I mean? Like
a multiverse.
Yeah, and like on the mainstream. And I guess Marvel as a whole has, right? That's what they've been doing for 10 years now, having other characters appear in other people's movies. But I think this was a shared, because so Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, who played the other Spider-Man in the movie, they were owned by Sony exclusively when their movies came out. So Tom Holland, who plays the more recent Spider-Man and the main character in No Way Home,
he's been shared with Disney.
Disney. And I think so. I don't think it's like a 50-50 split either. I'm pretty sure Sony's getting the bulk of the rights. And Spider-Man is a very popular property to own, so they're not trying to come up off the property anytime soon. But Marvel's done a great job of putting Spider-Man back into the mainstream and making it fun and fresh and just taking us on the ride, man. It was a great movie, man. So William Dafoe as the Green Goblin, man. This guy, I was scared of him. I mean, so like the fight they had, which I thought was stupid. Why are you going? And we're going to jump all over the place in this review. But if I'm Spider-Man, if I'm Tom Holland, I'm not taking the bad guys back to my aunt's house, like for tea and biscuits. You know what I mean? Like, they coming in there fixing it. You're exposing them to Tony Stark technologies, and you're bringing them back around your aunt, the place where your aunt sleeps and lives, and that was a bad move by Spider-Man. My Spider-Man wouldn't have done that. But that fight scene they had in there, William Dafoe, when he like turns evil and all hell breaks loose in the apartments.
Yeah.
And like Spider-Man's on top of him and he's punching down on him and he's just laughing through the punches. Man, I was like, yo, I would love to see an entire movie of just Spider-Man and William Dafoe. Like, I don't know how old William Dafoe is, but I was scared of him as the Green Goblin. I was like, yo,
he killed it as Green Goblin, man. I can hear myself. He killed it as Green Goblin, man. Like, I remember he was good in Spider-Man 1, man. Like, he was a good Green Goblin, and even then we didn't really have anybody to compare him up against, like to put him up against. But he was definitely.
You know what always annoys me?
He brought it back for this new movie, man.
You know what always annoys me in a lot of movies? Like, they did it in Black Panther a lot. They do it in other movies. Like, So the actor has have a certain amount of face time, right? So they remove the actor's mask so that you see his actor underneath it. Remember the end of Black Panther? They're fighting, and he's fighting in that train thing keeps going by, and
they just randomly take their masks off.
Yeah, it was just annoying. But I'm like, William Dafoe in this movie, he didn't even need a mask. I was like, I know he's a Green Goblin. Like his face looks goblinish. You know what I mean? He looks like a
Oh,
goblin.
come on, man.
I mean, he did a great job, man. Like Spider-Man's on top of his shoulders, and he punched him, and he's just laughing through it. I was like, oh shit, this dude he's actually scary.
But like as far as like Peter Parker, man, like bringing him back, that wasn't the smartest idea. But at the same time, like it just kind of goes to show, like he's a young guy and he's still trying to do what's right. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what makes him like, that's what makes him Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man's always his goal. He's always trying to fix the people he's fighting, right? Like there's very few times he's just like he loses it, right, and just really tries to take him out. And those are under extreme circumstances. He's always been on the helping hand in one form or another, trying to like help repair his villains, right? Like Morbius, you think about Morbius, you think about Venom, you think about Goblin, you think about Dr. Octopus. He's always been on the side trying to help figure these guys. Electro, every comic series I've watched with Spider-Man, I don't know about Rhino so much, but even still, man, like he's always trying to help them, man. Like he realizes these people got problems, man. And he's trying to be the bigger person. That's kind of what makes him Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
That's what heroes do. They help people.
Yeah, that's what heroes do. You know what I'm saying?
But I just think it wasn't a smart move to bring them back to where your aunt was. I mean, look at the result. His aunt, spoiler alert, his aunt died. And I know it's the third movie, and they're not gonna. I mean, Tom Holland's doing Uncharted now. He doesn't want to. He might want to break away from the whole Spider-Man role, so they're going to kill people. It's the last movie, but his aunt died.
Last movie.
What died in a car accident, but his aunt died specifically because he brought those bad guys back to where she lived. So, which makes that a bad move in my book.
Yeah, but Uncle Ben died specifically because Spider-Man was also being selfish, right?
And Uncle Ben didn't die in Tom Holland's movie. In his universe, his Aunt May was his Uncle Ben. Remember, Aunt May told him
we don't know who Uncle Ben was.
Great power.
His Aunt May died. Right, she was the role. Somebody had to die because that's kind of like Spider-Man's catalyst, right?
Right.
That's his catalyst for maturity.
He caused his own catalyst by bringing them back to
every time he has.
Why didn't he take her to the place where they were holding the other bad guys? Remember where the place where they had the cells and he was holding them at first? Yeah, just take her back there. Why you want to take them? Also, I'm tired.
It had to go down like that, man.
Hey, I'm tired of Tom Holland in these movies doing stupid stuff. Okay, last movie, Far From Home, he gave the Tony Stark glasses to Mysterio. Like, I think you should have these more than me. Like, what are you doing, man? Those are Tony Stark glasses, man. Tony Stark dead. Yeah. Like, you're giving these glasses to a guy you just met. You know what I mean? It's just, I guess without a plot,
it's his naivety, man. Like he's a naive guy.
You gotta grow up. Wow,
that was his catalyst.
Okay, so. Real quick update. The LA Rams have beaten the San Francisco 49ers 20-17 to advance to the Super Bowl, which will be in 2 weeks. Should be a good game, man. So the Rams and Cincinnati. I guess I got the Rams. I mean, it don't really matter. I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm just a football fan at this point. But wow. So the Super Bowl is set. Los Angeles Rams will be at home because the Super Bowl is played in their stadium this year. LA is it the Coliseum? I'm not even sure. SoFi Stadium. But yeah. But yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. Back to the point at hand. Yeah, great movie, man. The fight scene at the end was cool. The team up when they're all swinging together and going around and taking out the bad guys. A lot of people had a problem with Electro, Jamie Foxx's Electro. I thought he was dope. Like, he was the same as he was in his Spider-Man movie,
All right, so I had a couple of movie-related questions. So, just about the movie and about kind of like these three universes, right? So you remember, like, everybody's asking, like, yo, is they gonna do another Amazing Spider-Man now, right? With Andrew Garfield, And I was like, would that be the Spider-Man that's in the one with Venom? Because they're both like wholly Sony. Or do you think they're going to do that
If
Amazing Spider-Man with Tom Holland?
I think Tom Holland might be done. You know how actors kind of get typecast and they don't want to do roles a lot of times. I saw, speaking of Joe Rogan, I saw Robert Downey Jr., who plays Iron Man on Joe Rogan. He said he was
Mm-hmm.
tired of playing, given he's done more movies as Iron Man than Tom Holland has done as Spider-Man. But
Mm-hmm.
he said he was tired of doing those movies. So Tom Holland is in the new Uncharted movie, which is I think Mark Wahlberg's in that movie with him.
Mm-hmm.
Uncharted, the video game. You ever played that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I played one of them.
Mhm.
There's a couple of them, right?
So I think, but
I
I
played
think
one of
Sony
them.
as
The
a
one that
company,
came with the PS4.
I think Sony as a company would be stupid to not do something to keep this money train rolling with Marvel. Like Marvel has brought Spider-Man into the universe in a way which made it relevant, and it caught on to the whole Avengers train that was going, and just latched onto that, propelled us to where we are now with No Way Home. I think they'd be crazy not to continue the partnership. But as I said, it's a valuable property, and Sony, there's no way they're going to let their hands off of it and give it
Why do
exclusively
you
to
keep
Marvel.
thinking Tom Holland is done? Like he's done other movies other than Uncharted. Like he's in other stuff.
I'm
He's in
not
a
saying
couple.
he's done
He's in a
completely.
couple other movies. Like I don't think like Spider-Man's like gonna. Does he said anything about like he's done? Or like, have you heard anything? Because I
I
haven't
haven't
heard anything, and the way
listened to
they
any
ended the
interviews.
last one didn't make me think that he was finished.
I haven't listened to any interviews, anything.
Okay.
There was sometimes some review reaction. I can't remember. It's back when all the movie came out. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just the feeling I got at the time that he didn't want to be typecast. I mean, and look, money always talks. Like I said, he only did how many? Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, his own 3 movies. So was that 6 movies
That's
as
six.
Spider-Man? I
Yeah,
mean, that's a lot of movies as one character. You know, I could
it's a big
understand.
universe.
But if they come to Tom Holland and say, "Hey, man, we'll give you 20 million to be in this new Spider-Man movie," like, of course he's like, well, I mean, I wouldn't
I
say
get
yeah.
the vibe he likes being Spider-Man.
Yeah, see, and it's definitely like, imagine who would even know Andrew Garfield or Tobey
Like I
Maguire.
heard when he met Tobey Maguire, he like spaz.
Who would even? I mean, isn't Spider-Man Tobey Maguire's most popular role up to this point? We don't know Tobey Maguire from much,
Between that or Steve Biscuit.
so it's the same as Tom Holland, same as Andrew Garfield, at least to the American audience. I think Andrew Garfield is English. He's an English guy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland's he's British.
This they pick a lot of British actors and actors, like the whole Game of Thrones cast, pretty much. Like a lot of guys in Hollywood
Dude,
have.
that's in like mid-world, man. Like that's like Middle Earth. Like yeah, all these cats is from like
For
they're all
accent.
from like Ireland. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, man. Like because like real talk, American actors, they're okay.
I
But
mean, I'm sure there's
I
some
would I
people
would
over
find it
here that
super interesting how
find
like
it out.
American or British actors do American accents. And I'm like, we have accents,
I guess.
but
I
we
guess we
swim
do,
in
man.
water.
Even who's my
Yeah, we
man
got.
from The Walking Dead? The guy who played Rick. What's his name?
He's
Is he the
British.
Yeah, no, he's British, I think, or
He's
Australian.
British.
Yeah, I swear to
What?
God, dog. You listen to him talk, he got like a heavy accent.
What?
Yeah, he sounds like any other guy. He
I'm thinking
sounds
to
like Rick
myself,
Grimes, man. It's Rick Grimes to me, man.
yeah, that thing was really from Georgia.
All right.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't know him of all people. But
Yeah,
damn,
I
man, I
mean,
believe it
I
though.
heard
Maybe they
interviews
just
that Tom Holland wants to step away. Tobey Maguire, I'm not sure how old he is, but Tom Holland's just perfect.
Henry Cavill, man. Henry
I
Cavill is
know
definitely
me as a
British, man.
fan, and most people as fans of the MCU and whatever Marvel does, we're here for all of it. I can't wait till the next movie. Did they tease the next movie in this? No, what was the end credit scene? They just had Venom sitting there at the
No, there was
bar.
one after that.
Then
It
he
was
disappeared.
actually the one after that was a trailer for the next Doctor Strange.
Yep.
It
Yep.
was a time for the next Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And
Which we'll see what they do there.
here, let me say this. You have to watch, you've got to watch the Disney Plus What If series.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've heard that is going to tie in there's some stuff that goes on there that's gonna tie in to the next Doctor Strange movie.
Which makes sense, right? Like these movies and this thing is like a live comic book, man. That's why the MCU is so great over the last 10 to 12 years with all these movies they keep giving us. It's like a live action comic book. And anybody who was a comic book fan, I know Juice used to get down to comics heavy.
Yeah.
And like it's amazing to see, man. And I can't wait. Whatever they put out, Doctor Strange. Yeah, I have not seen the Eternals yet, which is I'm
Me
missing Disney
neither.
Plus. I heard it's on Disney Plus.
I saw Shang-Chi. I saw the
Yeah,
Black Widow. I just haven't seen Eternals.
me neither. That's the only one I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
but
yeah,
yeah,
I was talking with Frank earlier, you know what I'm saying? And we were talking about movies, and I was pointing out that like there's a feeling, there's like a certain vibe, and I don't know if Frank's was something like brand or something, but there's a certain vibe you get from specifically like these Marvel MCU movies, right? There's a certain it's kind of like a perfect formula they have for comedy, action, story development, and your ability to empathize with what's going on. They have this kind of like perfect mix match that you can't when you watch other movies or shows, you can't it's hard to get that same like satisfaction, I guess is the way of putting it. This same particular satisfaction for those other movies, man. Like I watched, I don't know, name it, man. Like we watch movies all the time, and there's few movies that kind of give you you always kind of end up like at the end of a movie, you kind of walk away not really giving a caring. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about?
you know at the end of a movie whether you like it or not. I know that initial feeling that you have, like right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did I like this? Some movies you didn't like, from the very beginning or halfway
But you
through.
kind of like shrug it off. Was like I feel like, and maybe it's because they're part of a big universe. That might be what it is. When you're watching these movies, you feel like you're only feeding into it and for a certain amount of time, but there's more to get out of it later. Like it's kind of like it gives more because it's part of a larger story.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me that feels like that, but that's kind of the vibe I get from it. You know what I'm saying?
That's the fandom. That's what we do as fans. Like we take the story and turn it into something bigger. I mean, it's just awesome what they're giving us, man. This movie was great. Can't wait to see Doctor Strange. You know, I know the movie came out over a month ago. It's hard for me to remember specific parts, which is why I said sometimes people get a little bit too emotional and try to draw like a lot of life lessons out of these movies, and that can only go so far because a lot of times we're watching fantasy, sci-fi, superhero movies, and you
Yeah,
can't
but that's
get
kind of
too
like I feel
you
like
can't get
stories are super important for people, especially when it comes to like building like their characters, right? Like stories, we all tell stories, and like storytelling is kind of like the an adhesive for like a society, right?
true. You can definitely get down with the story. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was good. It was definitely a good movie. Um, can't wait to see where they go next.
Yeah,
Can't wait to see where they go next. But
yeah.
yeah, man. I don't even know, like Marvel, man. Like, I was there for that whole stretch run they had of all these movies. You had a movie a year, then it went to 2 movies a year. And I'm like, where are they going next? I know Doctor Strange is next. Shang-Chi was dope. Um, I wonder how they're gonna weave all these stories together to tell the bigger story, or are they gonna do that anymore? Like,
There, you
right?
got to
Because
watch the shows, man.
everything that came before, I don't think the plan of Infinity War and Endgame was there from the very beginning. Like, I don't think when they came out with the first Captain America, the first Avenger, and the first Iron Man movie, they knew they were going to end at Endgame. I think the story kind of evolved as they went.
I think like when they hit up when they started hitting up Avengers, right? When
Right.
Avengers came together, I think that's when they started like pointing to this distant, enemy,
Mm-hmm.
this distant challenge they had to meet. Like once the Avengers came together, like I think that's what it was.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, I wonder how it's all going to tie together. Like I said, the only one I'm missing is Eternals. The movie was questionable. I heard some people said it was good. Some people said they hated it. Um, you got to be the judge of your own movies in
All right.
2022.
So, do you think they're gonna kill Spider-Man to bring in Miles?
It's possible, but yeah.
That's my favorite theory, man. I've been saying it, Joe, every year a Spider-Man movie comes out, man.
So you played the game.
No, I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the movie, the MCU, the comic series.
Right.
Like, yeah, I played the game. I mean, yeah, they're both in the game in that game universe, yes. But I'm talking about the
I mean, nowadays
MCU
the game is
Ultimate Universe, the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man, where Miles comes in as Spider-Man because Peter Parker was killed by the Goblin in front of everybody.
I mean, they set it up here with this movie. There's multiple universes and multiple different ways they can go.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, so if, yeah, they could definitely do it, man. It would be sad to see like Tom Holland die, but I mean, and to be fair, he didn't die. Like he died for a while, then came back later, like all comic heroes do. But he was dead for a long time in that jump, and that's when Miles made his way into the limelight. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know if we mentioned this in the chat. C said he signed another 3-movie deal to play Spider-Man. So Tom Holland. Yes, he signed
3
another.
movies after this, or
I,
3 movies including this?
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. All I saw was the comment.
Yeah, I haven't looked.
Hang on.
If it was just a 3-movie deal for Spider-Man, I mean, technically he's past that, but if it's 3 more movies, hey, I'm all in. But damn it, that means they're not gonna kill him. Like, I don't want to sound like an asshole, but dude, they gotta kill him so they can bring him Miles. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, it would be awesome, dude. Like the way they John went down in the comics, man.
They could just go to another universe. They already set it up.
So you think they're probably just bringing Miles from another universe and have him become like instead of animated, he'll be
both Spider-Man in this
flesh
movie
and
from other
flesh
universes.
and
They were just missing Miles Morales from his universe, and then you could have Spider-Gwen, and everybody could come in.
Yeah. Like say they're dropping the new Spider-Verse movie. So what if like at the end of that jump they pop into another universe and they're all like, flesh and blood people. Like, oh, that's weird. And then boom, you have it. That would be easy. That would be an easy way to do it.
What was the movie back in the day that came out? I think it was called Cool World or something.
Yeah. What was that with was Keanu Reeves in that?
I don't think it was Keanu Reeves, but you know what I'm talking about though. Yeah, it was like a comic book.
The animated.
Yeah.
And he jumps into the world.
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, Roger Rabbit too.
Yeah, those are all classics.
Turning people into tunes.
80s movies classic. Hey, real quick, yo, just a side note. Do you know what I was watching the other day, Juice? Man, straight nostalgia from childhood, man. Popeye.
Ninja Turtles.
Remember the Popeye movie with Robin Williams?
The cartoon? Yeah. Oh, the movie?
Robin Williams. Yeah, the movie, bro.
Yeah. Isn't that on Netflix, right?
No, I seen that joint when I was like 5 or 6 years old, man.
Yeah, man. That's a throwback, man.
Yeah.
Now they got all the good stuff on Netflix right now, man. They got all the Ninja Turtles movies, man. Like I'm trying to get Claudine to watch the Ninja Turtles one. She never seen it.
Oh man, see, I don't think they kind of hold up only because of what we've seen from movies like that, like Spider-Man No Way Home and these big.
Yeah, but you know what did hold up recently? I watched recently. I got Claudine to watch it. Was The Last Dragon, man.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, The Last Dragon holds up, man.
The Last Dragon. Who was that?
Bruce Leroy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dude, that movie does hold up, man. Like it's still a good movie, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, yo, like so now I'm like curious. Like I wonder if Ninja Turtles 1 holds up. I wonder if
because it takes you back to your childhood and you just remember how it felt watching the movie the first time. But then again, they don't because you see all the animatronics and the prosthetics and You see everything now. The way you didn't see
Remember?
it back then, but now you see it. You know. And you're
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But here's the
But
thing
it's
though,
funny, like
like,
the way their lips still move because you could tell it's like a machine moving their lips.
yeah,
It's like kitchen, kitchen. He's like fight, fight,
right.
kitchen,
Yo,
kitchen.
but remember they had the hood version of the Ninja Turtles
Hell
that
yeah,
was on,
it's real
yeah.
85. Nigga,
And I
his
was like, yo, wait, that joke held up. Like that was funny as hell. And it
that's
was
all
cool.
funny as shit. Though. That's because of the hood voiceover on that drum. That don't count. 'Cause the hood
Hey,
voice.
that joke held up though.
That joke
I
was.
was looking at that joke, I was like, yeah, that's straight. I'm with the still.
Yeah, it's real 85 movies, man.
That nigga rap was hella hood, man.
Turtles, man. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Spider-Man No Way Home, man, is dope. Yeah, I can't wait to see where Marvel goes next. We need it. We need it. We want it. I'm here. I'm a fan. I'm here to soak it all up. Just take my money.
Yeah, take my money, man. Like,
Right.
if they tie in, if they bring Venom over,
If it's one good thing
you know
with
what's messed up, dude, is they brought Venom over, but he didn't do anything,
right,
and then they just threw it in there, just like this could have happened. Like, man, why?
because I think
Just
they're,
brought
they're,
Venom
trying to,
over.
they're trying to end the deal with Sony. I think
Mm.
Sony and either Marvel threw that in there or Sony threw it in there to
Nah,
jab
that's right. That's it. That's it.
because
Yo,
this is
they
the one
actually,
chance to have Spider-Man and Venom in the movie, like teamed up or as foes, and they skipped it and tried to rub it in your face at the end. It's like, okay, dude, are we
no, but remember at the
done?
end of the
Or the
movie,
deal
there was
still
a drop
on?
of the symbiote left.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. So they're gonna have a whole. Never mind. They're gonna have
Probably
another
in contract
Venom.
negotiations about the character of Venom, the same way they were of Spider-Man. Because I think the Venom movies were Sony movies; those weren't
They are,
MCU. Yeah, so they're
which is
probably in
still
contract
like
negotiations, which was like
here.
literally how the
Amazing
fans like.
Spider-Man was Sony. That so Garfield Spider-Man and Holland Spider-Man are both Sony, right? I guess all of them are Sony, right? Peter Tobey Maguire, that was Sony too still back then, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So are all those and what?
Andrew Garfield, he's the
Yeah,
one
all three of
who's
them.
Spider-Man with the Jamie Foxx and
But they got a multiverse going on. So are they gonna pull
who was the bad
another
guy?
Eddie Brock and make Eddie Brock Venom? I don't know. It's curious, man. Did you watch the Venom movie, the second one with Carnage?
Yeah, and I
I heard
did
it wasn't
not
good.
enjoy it as much as I thought I would, as much as I wanted to. I mean, it just felt too, I don't know, just felt too disjointed and it didn't follow. It was the same as the first one. I saw everything. I saw the symbiote talking to him and, the third person and, you know, Carnage was dope. It didn't have a lot of action. I think they saved a lot of their money, the budget for the end fight. So,
Mm-hmm.
the first 3/4 of the movie was kind of boring.
Yeah, that's too bad. Again, man, just give it to Disney, man. Guys, stop quit fucking around. Like Disney's gonna make a good movie. They just hanging on to that joint, trying to milk Disney for the money, man. But like, come on, man. Like
They'll never
they
do it.
can't do it. They can't do it, man. They
No, the
can't do it.
property is worth too much. They can't. It's too
Yeah,
popular.
yeah, yeah. But it's only gonna keep making money because, dude, if they keep making these movies, they ain't gonna hold it down, man. They don't have the formula that Disney got.
Right.
Disney got the formula, man. They got the mind control formula. I don't know, man. But anyway, all I want to know is like if they ever do another Amazing Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield, he's still one of my favorite. He's still my favorite Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire?
Andrew Garfield.
I like Tom Holland. I think he's my favorite. I think they
I
all
like
went
him too. I definitely like him, but
they all went in order. Like Tobey Maguire was my first favorite because he was the first set of Spider-Man movies. I mean, Spider-Man 2 with him and Doc Ock was one.
that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
The whole Doc Ock thing, man, in the movie was great, dude. Like, so Doc Ock was healed. He fixed him.
Yeah, I still wouldn't trust it. Those
I don't
arms
know,
were
man.
trying to break free.
Huh?
Those arms were trying to break free. You know what I mean? Like, weren't the arms like an AI unto themselves? Like that's what made him evil.
Yeah, but he neutralized. Yeah, exactly. But they fixed the AI issue.
But see, I would
They overrode that Joan, fixed it.
Always come back. He was good for now. He was good for that movie. You know, maybe a week from now,
man,
he'd be back to
I
his
think
old shenanigans.
it'd be dope, dude, if he just fixed it and I don't know.
Right.
That was a good ending, though.
No, it was dope. The whole thing was cool. Man, I liked how there was a part at the end where Tom Holland's is going crazy on the Goblin because remember his aunt died and he's wild and he grabbed the glider. Tom Holland grabbed the glider and is about to stab the Goblin with it, like with the front blades. I guess going back to his aunt real quick. It's crazy because she got hit like a mug and then she stood up. Remember the glider flew into her and hit her, and I thought it cut her in half. So I'm about to say, oh my god, is aunt about to be dismembered on this joint? And yeah, she
gentleman,
stood up
son.
and she ate that hit. But so at the end, Tom Holland's about to stab the Goblin, and then the one Spider-Man, I think it's Tobey Maguire, runs up and stops him. He's like, no, remember, because in Tobey Maguire's movie, he wanted to kill the thief that killed his uncle, and he didn't kill him, And also Andrew Garfield had the moment where he saved MJ. So in his movie, he couldn't save Gwen Stacy. She's falling down, and he can't get to her in time and keep her from impacting the ground. And he saves MJ. So he had a moment. That was a nice moment, man. I liked when
so
he
good,
stopped.
man. They man, like that's what I'm saying. Disney knows how to do it, man.
Yeah,
they took all these disjointed issues that we missed and that we on a resolution to, and they put them together, and they gave us like the heartfelt, feeling, and it was good, man. Like Sony couldn't have done that. Sony couldn't have done that by themselves. They couldn't have done
it. Be idiotic to give this to not continue this partnership with Disney and the MCU because of the popularity of it. I mean, the popularity of the MCU based off of these movies that have been coming out for the last
that shit ain't right though.
Years of our lives, they'd be crazy not to want to eat off of that as well.
Yeah, it ain't right though.
We'll see where it goes. I don't know. It's right. It's business. I mean, it ain't right.
Nah, that ain't right, man.
It's very valuable.
If
Spider-Man, the character of Spider-Man,
if they can't do the movies right, come on, man. Y'all suck at this, man. They're not good at this, man. They can't do it, man. They try. They can't do it.
I don't trust them to
do it
well as Marvel.
Can't do it.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm with you.
Fine, they did it with Spider-Man too.
That was a long time ago, and that's before the MCU really kicked off. I mean, Spider-Man. I mean, the first Iron Man.
Or even almost 2008. Before that shit was even concocted.
Right. It was good for what it was, but I mean, based upon Venom, Let There Be Carnage, we know that we don't trust Sony as
Can't do it.
Disney.
Can't trust them.
Yeah. Give it to Disney and let's see where they go with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll see what's next. I don't even know when Doctor Strange is supposed to come out.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
It'll come out soon enough. Like, I feel like the last movies, all of those came out in like hit after hit after hit. It was like boom, boom, boom. Like,
yeah, now it's like the waiting game.
Widow, Shang-Chi, Eternals, the 4 shows. It's like, damn.
The problem with the waiting game, well, one, we've been in the midst of a global pandemic for the last 2 years, so that slows everything down. But yeah, I mean, and then the next thing is like we were getting movies. Now we have streaming services, so maybe this is an effort to divert a lot of the fandom to their streaming service. If you want this content from these characters, come to the streaming service. I guess maybe to privatize more of the revenue, as
definitely with the shows.
With movie theaters.
Definitely with the shows and Disney. Like, here's the thing: I was always wondering, like, how was Disney going to get me to buy in? Like, they took all the movies off Netflix and we're like, oh, these jerks. How dare they? They're just trying to get us a blah blah blah. That wasn't enough. What was enough? Well, first of which was enough was they had a package that came with Hulu, and I was like, oh, okay, well, sure, I'll pay an extra couple dollars. Yeah, that don't hurt. But what really sold them, or what really sold me, was the shows and Star Wars.
I still watch The Mandalorian or Boba Fett, the Book of Boba Fett. I haven't watched either one.
Mandalorian was amazing. Book of Boba Fett, like I'm on episode I'm about to watch episode 4. It's not Mandalorian.
Dude, I am a literal smorgasbord of unwatched reaction material, bro.
Yeah.
Like so many shows, like Stranger Things, like all this
You
stuff.
don't watch Stranger Things
Dude, I'm
season 1?
telling you, I need to start reacting to some of this stuff. I'm fresh. People like fresh reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
But dude, the joke came out like 6 years ago.
Yeah, but the thing is, I haven't been spoiled on any of it. You know what I mean? So I'm like literally fresh. Like I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like it's crazy too. The Mandalorian as well. I haven't been spoiled on anything. I know that Bill Burr's in it. Spoiler alert for the Mandalorian. I heard he does a great job.
It doesn't even matter.
Mm-hmm.
He could have not been in it, and it's fine.
Yeah, I heard that Baby Yoda is not really Baby Yoda. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for me. This is just what I know. The Baby Yoda is Baby Yoda, or like Baby Yoda is like a hologram. Something about Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda's a hologram.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, he's a hologram.
But yeah, I'm a literal melting pot of reactions, just waiting to bubble over, man. I'm telling you, I need to get up to on my reaction game. I wish we could have got that Family Guy video pulled up. You know,
I know, man. Like,
because you were listening. I listened to maybe the first minute of it, and like I was laughing like a mug, which is why I said we should do a no laugh, side to that whole thing. But yeah, man, I wish we could have got that joint figured out, man, because we need to do some reaction vids, man.
Damn. Wait, I just had an idea that maybe it might work.
What's up, man? Well, hey, share with the audience, man.
All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna wrap this. All
right.
Let's wrap up this topic. You know what I'm saying?
Spoilers,
guys. It's a good show.
All the main.
Yeah.
Great movie. Go see it.
It's an amazing movie. It was the movie of the year. Like 2022 ain't gonna get better than this. Like it's the peak, man. Like I'm open, but I have low expectations. They started out too high.
So No Way Home came out in 2021. So 2022 is just
was like the end of the year, right?
Moonfall coming out. That looks pretty dope. Moonfall, something with the catastrophic with the moon happens or something. I'm imagining. That looks pretty cool. It could be top. I mean, there were a lot of movies that came out in 2021 that just didn't get like the promotion. I mean, a lot of them released straight to streaming. Like Godzilla vs Kong was dope.
It was dope.
Judas and the Black Messiah. Was it Black Messiah and Judas? What's that called? Judas and the Black Messiah. I think that was pretty cool. HBO Max straight to release. You know, we're talking strictly like superhero movies. Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's pretty dope.
You watched it?
Of course.
You watched the director's uncut whatever.
Justice League?
Yeah, the one they re-released with like
they got like one in black and white.
The one that they was supposedly done correctly without all the cuts they did for the main show.
It was dope. It was like a new movie.
Yeah.
Almost like a new movie. So
was it as good as Spiderman No Way Home?
Some competition in 2021, but it
wasn't, man. I'm already knowing it wasn't. All right, I need to watch. I can't even talk on it, but like I barely made it through the first one, like the Justice League movie. I'm just like, you telling me the 4-hour one is going to be worth it?
Oh, it's dope because Zack Snyder's a great visionary director. So like your eyes will never be bored. Like in the story,
why couldn't he do that in 2.5 hours? Why didn't they stretch it out to 2 movies?
It doesn't. They have it broken into segments, so it has like part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. So you can watch each part is like 45 minutes an hour, something like that. So yeah, you can definitely break it down and watch it as episodes if you want.
It might be worth it.
Spider-Man had some competition in 2021, but you know it definitely had a lot of fanfare and hype behind it because of.
I'll look forward to being wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll look forward to being wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect to be, but I look forward to it. I welcome the challenge. Impress me.
All right.
Impress me.
Yeah. I guess that's about it for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and talk about... Well, here. We can come back, and I'm trying to get this Family Guy thing up and running again. Man, it's
that
10
would be
o'clock.
yeah, that'd be great to end it off on that joint though, because it's not that long and it's funny.
All
People
right,
always
if I can get it up and running, then boom. All right, break, guys. See you in a bit. Take that off. Boom.
Welcome to the Intelligent Idea Pocket Podcast.
And we're back. I think that works. That seems fine, right? Yeah. That seems okay. Let's see. Banner up. All right, we're gonna try this again. The thing is, I need to probably should have done this on a break, but I wasn't even sure if I could. So either way. So what I'm trying to do is send this video link through to my tablet, and if I can get StreamYard running on the tablet, then if we get this to work right.
wow. So the Super Bowl is set. Los Angeles Rams facing Cincinnati Bengals. I have to say, I think the Rams are going to win this game. I think Matthew Stafford will get the first Super Bowl of his career. And I think the city of San Francisco will, I think the city of Los Angeles will get a Super Bowl title. Crazy, man.
Really?
You know, that's why people love sports, because, you know, not a lot of people pick these teams at the beginning of the year, and you see the popularity of it. It's reality in real time, you know. Like, sports is a reality show, basically what it is. You know, you go into these games, there's all this hype. You don't know exactly who's going to win, who's going to walk away with a W. And at the end, when that team does, you try to find reasons, but it's always exciting. It's the surprise, the shock. Oh my God. So yeah, it's crazy. Sunday, February 13th, 6:30 p.m. Super Bowl. They always put them in Roman numerals. I don't know the Roman numerals either. I'd have to look that up. It's a LVI. LVI. I know LV is 50, right? What's that L? I don't even know. LVI.
It's not working.
That's all good, my brother. Hey, like I said, I'm a spectator. Let's get it figured out next time, man. It's definitely funny. We got to react.
I think I almost got it. I just have echo. You hear echo?
A little bit.
Yeah. Let me just try to. Take this off now. Yeah. Okay. I give up. Sorry guys. I don't know. Never mind. I'll try again next time. I'll have a video up and running next time, guys.
Yeah, it looks when people do it on YouTube, right? They just be having that joint like just
well,
up there, you know.
They have producers. They have people behind the scenes to be like, "Hey, play this." They're like, somebody behind the scenes was like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
just something we
as soon as we get it down packed, like this is our second show. I'm still learning this thing. So as soon as we get it down, it'll be good.
No doubt.
Yeah, man.
It's all good. So
I don't
what
know,
you
man.
wrap up with?
Oh
man, Yonkin.
I guess so. He's gonna piss me off. But yeah, let's do it.
He's just following through with his campaign promises. That's all.
So,
quote at the end of the article said, "When you lie with dogs, you wake up with fleas," and that's pretty much what we're saying.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he lies with Trump in the right wing, who's gotten exceedingly crazier, and he in turn is becoming as crazy as they are. So I'm trying to bring up the article real quick so we talk about it. You have it up?
Yeah. Hypocrisy, racism from Virginia's new governor. The name of the article. And we got it off News Break. And I guess they got it off BlueRidgeMuse.com website. Glenn Youngkin wants to outlaw critical race theory from our public schools. His actions could be considered inbred, systematic racism that is discussed in the theory itself. Wow. So, yeah, he wants to get rid of...
Isn't that like the irony of it, though? It's like him wanting to block something that's not even being taught as a means of dissuading people of talking about actual issues related to people of color and ultimately white supremacy. If you don't talk about the issues, it's hard to say these issues exist, right?
I mean, right.
Because they're not put up in the forefront. And that's ultimately kind of what this is all about, right? Like everybody, the fact that Governor Youngkin, first thing he did was to come out and say, "Hey," in a series of executive orders, was to say, "Hey, we're not going to teach critical race theory in school," and without having the courtesy of pointing out that, hey, it was never taught in school, especially in Virginia public schools in the very first place. And that's the catch, right? Like he knows it's not taught in so I don't know if you ever watch any debates related to critical race theory versus the people who want it banned versus the people who are like, hey, it's not being taught. Have you ever watched any of those debates?
No, I never personally, no.
So one thing I've noticed, and I watch a couple of them, but the first thing I always notice, which is kind of like blatant and obvious, is that the person who's arguing for critical race theory to be taught in school always nearly immediately concedes to the fact that one of two things. One, they don't know what critical race theory is, and two, they acknowledge that it's not taught in school right now. And then they go on to say, but that's not why we want this banned. What we want banned is the improper teaching, or a more fair teaching, or some other like coded language saying they want to change how school curriculums deal uh, with race, and with issues of race in public schools.
All right. Well, let's. I want to start back over just a little bit, and
Mhm.
so the big thing that got Youngkin in the news. I mean, he signed a lot of orders. His first couple days in office is to, I guess, get rid of critical race theory, right? As we were talking about. So let's, for the layman people who don't really know what critical race theory is, um, let's start here. So I got something pulled up. What exactly is critical race theory? It is a theory that seeks to explain how people use governing systems like laws to oppress and hinder BIPOC folk. BIPOC, BIPOC, is an acronym that means Black, Indigenous, People of Color.
Mhm.
However, critical race theory also explains how white politicians only care about equality when it is beneficial to them. In short, if there is no benefit, there is no change. One example that critical race theory exposes is the perceived push for civil rights. The only reason why politicians cared about civil rights of minorities was because it benefited their political career and enabled them to remain in power.
Yep.
And I guess that's a layman's definition of critical race theory. I guess you can kind of see why uh, a supporter, or why a person like Youngkin would want to get this removed, right? Like, you don't want to teach the kids that you were wrong, and that's, you know, you can see why. Not that they should. Okay, I'm not saying that I agree with them not teaching critical race there. Of course, you should. It's the truth. You know.
I mean, you can also see why, like, you know, uh, the South wanted to keep slaves as opposed to, being fair. It benefited them, right?
Of
So yeah,
course.
there's always a reason why. These reasons are like BS, and not reasons we should like consider as something that should be maintained because it benefits a certain few. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, it's like, and it's not really. It's really all what it comes down to. And you pointed out earlier, man. The like that definition accurately points out exactly what they're afraid of. They don't like the idea that they're being, and by they, I mean the white supremacist power structure. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that it's being called out and put in the forefront in people's uh in their mainline understanding and education, right? Because let's be fair, like your education is essentially propaganda, right? Like, and it is 100% propaganda, but there's a difference between propaganda that says, hey, we have been fair this entire time. Sure, there were some issues before, but these aren't any concerns to you, versus propaganda, which is like, hey, let's look at the issues, the things we did wrong in the past, and address them so that moving forward, we can be better than that. And those are two forms of propaganda. And one form of propaganda is regressive and one is progressive. And
I think those ideals will come around eventually. I mean, like we said, we're not that far removed from the epicenter of slavery. I mean, what do we say? Two long lifetimes ago, two grandmothers ago. You
mhm,
know. So it wasn't that long. I think eventually it will come around.
how you mean?
I have faith in the human race that, or in Americans, should I say, that we can, as far as this country goes, it will be such a melting pot of cultures and ideas, through time that, you know, I think we will recognize where we came from as far as, the history of this country and what I guess is what the critical race theory is about, in essence. But um, so it's a part in this article that I mentioned earlier, about Youngkin. Said that his kids actually went to a school that taught critical race theory. I don't remember. Now I went to Garfield High School, right? I don't remember if we were taught critical race theory in school.
No, like that's the thing. It's not taught in public schools.
Right. Yeah, right. Because it says it
And in all honesty,
exists.
I'm not sure what school this article is referencing. It says
Yeah, I tried to look at that too. Like, what's the name of this school?
like
Maybe they didn't want to
because
get.
from what my understanding is that critical race theory, like in itself, the actual course is a college graduate level course. Like
Mm,
you wouldn't take this until you're in your second. You're working towards your graduate degree. Maybe you're working in law for your
right.
law degree or something. You wouldn't even encounter this theory until you're in that realm of your education. It still does not taught K through 12, right?
So then
And
why even? I tried to find the name of the school as well. Maybe they didn't want to get flagged by mentioning what school it was or something.
yeah, I don't know. He said Illinois Academic School thought Fox News crowd misrepresented his daughter. I don't know. He said it's a private DC school. So that's super vague, but whatever. Maybe Youngkin's kids are in college. Like, this dude's like a millionaire. Like he's worth like, was it 44 or 66 million dollars.
Mm,
So his kids aren't going to public school, right? Also pointed out that, like in the article, they pointed out that he was on the board of governors for that school, which like was like beefing up the anti-racism policies at that time, which kind of also goes to show that all this critical race theory talk, all this stuff is really nothing more than political propaganda, right? Critical race theory has been around for like since the 70s,
right.
and it's just now coming up as a problem when it's not taught in the schools that these parents are going and railing at the school boards about. It's not taught in the schools. So it kind of just goes to show that these are just right wingers who found something new to be scared of. That's what I think. That's what, like, I mean, that's kind of what it looks like.
They need a new bad guy.
Yeah, and it worked, right? Like
Mhm.
it worked. He won the election. He's the governor of Virginia because
It's
Fox
all
News scared these right wingers into showing up in droves. And to be fair, honestly, to be fair, Terry McAuliffe wasn't talking about nothing but trying to blame Youngkin for being like Trump, but he didn't promise a damn thing that I can remember. I watched the debate. I watched the debate between Youngkin and Terry McAuliffe, and from it, you could kind of tell that Terry McAuliffe was halfway asleep at the wheel. He thought he was going to cruise through. Same way Hillary Clinton thought she was going to cruise through to win. I feel
maybe
like he felt the same way. He was like, "Don't worry, I got this in the bag." Um, Youngkin's a no name. Nobody's ever heard of him before. And all I have to do is, shake hands and kiss babies, and say I want everybody to wear masks.
hey, he got
And
elected.
it didn't work.
He got elected.
No, I'm talking about McAuliffe.
Oh, okay.
Like Youngkin was out there talking about, no, they are teaching your children critical race theory, and they are brainwashing your children by making them wear masks 24 hours a day, even though kids are only in school for like 6 hours a day. But it doesn't matter. They're wearing masks 24 hours a day, and COVID's not real, and you guys are overreacting, and they're trying to keep you pressed, and guys and girls are different, and all this stuff, right? Like he's doing the whole gambit. Like, I don't know if you're watching this stuff, but he was doing the whole gambit, the whole right wing, the libs are taking over gambit. and that's all he wants.
So the article references conservative radio host John Fredericks. I don't listen to his show. They don't even mention what station he's exactly on.
If you
But
know
he
who he is,
um,
you already know who he is.
right. Says Fredericks preaches racism often and also hypes Trump's big lie that is won the 2020 election. That how he won the 2020 election. Um, like others in Trump's band of cultists, Youngkin feels he can't afford to alienate the white supremacists, racists, bigots, and others of their ilk that he needs to survive. So it's back to I think a conversation that me, you, and Steph were having about something. I was like, that he just, and it's the same with Trump. He's just supporting his base. Like these people are there. Like that. We were talking about the shaman guy. And I was like, he seems like any old other supporter of any old other politician. Like he was rational. He wasn't crazy. Um,
Who?
but this is part of their base. These are the guys that the
The
shaman.
shaman? Q-anon Shaman?
Yeah. So
He
you
crazy
remember?
as hell.
Yeah, he wasn't crazy. He
I
wasn't
have
crazy.
stuff for this. We were supposed to go over that, but
Right.
we didn't talk about it beforehand.
But
But he
I mean,
crazy as hell.
and it's crazy because like this is their base. This is the people that this is their constituents. I mean, the same with Trump. Like, is Trump really a racist, or was he just serving up to his constituency? These are the people that voted for him.
He's a white
He has to tell
supremacist.
them what they want to hear. Like
No. D, hear me out. Yeah. Like, you're right. Like, yeah, he tells them what you want to hear. But like, if you have a cabal of serial killers in your election, in your people who would vote for you, do you pander to those serial killers?
if you
We
don't
should
know
kill
them,
more people. You
yes.
know what? Like,
All
killing's
all
not that
Youngkin knows
bad.
about them
Murder's
is that
not
they're
that
voters.
bad. They're overreacting when you murder people,
All
right?
Youngkin knows about them is that they're voters. We wouldn't know if they're serial killers or not.
Right.
Serial killers.
But you know what that makes him? You know what that makes him? A serial killer supporter.
Yeah, by extension, but no, it makes him
No,
the
by
governor of
extension, what do
Virginia.
you mean? He's pandering for them.
I mean, you can say that about Obama. You think some serial killer didn't vote for Obama? Obama
Uh,
didn't care. He just knew it was a ballot
but
going.
but did Obama pander to serial killers? And I'm
Not
using serial killer as an example, but
not
Trump
openly.
was
He would be
pandering.
behind closed doors,
Trump
And a
was
lot of these
pandering
guys.
to
Is
racists.
there a difference between a
Youngkin
serial
is
killer
pandering to conspiracy theorists.
is
Like,
there a
it's not
difference
this. It's
between
not 50-50. If you
is
call it
there
50-50, it's just wrong.
is there a difference between a serial killer who uses a knife to stab you up and a serial killer who signs an order to get you blown up? Which one is the serial killer? Because
Yes,
you can be a serial killer and
there's
not
a
slice
difference.
somebody's throat
There's a
directly,
difference.
right? But if I support a bill that would send American troops over to desolate a small village somewhere in the world, I could be deemed a serial killer then, right? Like the only
No,
reason they're there is because of my actions. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's
I
a
disagree.
fine line, and
It's not.
I'm just saying, he just
That's
playing
not a
with his
fine line.
constituency. Those are the people that voted Youngkin into office, so he has to do something to satisfy
The
them.
racists.
They're a large majority of the country. The
The
voter,
racists.
yes, the racists on both sides.
So
Left
you have
and
to,
right.
by extension, acknowledge that he's a racist sympathizer.
You can't do that outwardly because of public relations. You can't openly say you're a racist sympathizer. But
Well,
those
none
are
of
the
them
ones you
do.
respect more. The
Like,
ones that are open
Tucker
about it.
Carlson talks about the white supremacists. Like, I mean, not white supremacists. The Great Replacement. He talks about the Great Replacement, which is like a straight up like Nazi era propaganda. He talks about that joke regularly on his show, but he won't be like, nah, I'm not a Nazi. I'm not a white supremacist, because I don't have a swastika tattooed on my neck.
Hey, that word is
So
hard.
I'm not a white supremacist because I don't have a swastika on my neck. See? So I'm just asking questions.
But he's a
Right?
politician. You wouldn't put a swastika on your neck as a politician. You know what I mean?
But
Right?
do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, Youngkin wouldn't put a swastika on his neck. Like, so you can
But
be
he might
racist
say,
without
but he might
the
say
swastika.
swastika is stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean that's
And so
it
but
all
that won't
follows.
make him the white supremacist. Only the tattoo.
This article I pulled up about a critical race theory, right? It was another part in the article, and let me give credit to the person who wrote this because I don't want to act like this is mine. I got this to spy Dr. Usher from what's this? drusher.org or .com. Sorry, and this is his
DrUsher.com.
opinion. So it
Who is
says
this?
so
Who's
in
Dr.
his
Usher?
opinion, huh?
Who's Dr. Usher?
Some guy when I looked up the critical race theory. I thought it was an interesting article though. He wrote this article.
What's the title
So
of
it
it?
said, so rather than be afraid or intimidated by critical race theory, he's talking about regular people, us rather than be afraid or intimidated by critical race theory. Um, we should use it as a tool so that we can see how our issues are just tools of manipulation used by people in power to remain in power, right? Let them know the true change comes from the heart, blah blah. It was a good article, but anyway, so I thought that was the important part. Let us see how their issues are just tools of manipulation used by people in power. So Trump does it, Youngkin does it, Obama does it. Oh, that's what a politician does. You
I don't think I
use
understand.
people's
I don't
issues,
understand. What
black, white, it's racist, bigots, freedom fighters. You use people's issues as tools of manipulation. So yes, I'm going to say what you want to hear. I'm manipulating you into voting for me. Yes, I'm going to tell you what you want me to say because I want to manipulate you into voting for me and supporting me. So Youngkin is doing what politicians have done since they've been members of the political system. He's
I
manipulating people's votes. He's
so I
manipulating
think you're
people.
like
So whether
getting
it's
he's
bigoted
not
or white,
manipulating them.
he's
He's
doing
pandering to them. These
that's
aren't
what
his
manipulation is.
ideas.
That's manipulation.
These aren't his
Pandering.
ideas. He's
It doesn't
pandering
have
to
to
these
be.
people.
He has the job of being in office right now. So whether it's his ideas or not, he's the one who has to act it out and follow through. You know what I mean? So that's what politicians do to me. Like I'm not surprised
And
by what Youngkin
I
did.
hear you, right? But here's the issue, right? So what is the end goal for this, right? Like, is this like something that's like good for the country? Like when you have somebody who's pandering to racists, and it's quite evident, obvious, like the CRT thing.
Doing it for a
The
long
uh who are you excluding?
You see, you that's why you have two sides to the coin. That's why
The
you had
other half of the constituency. So if half the constituency are
that's why you had Hillary
like
Clinton doing
I'm
the
using the
doo-wop and dancing on
extreme,
live
I'm
TV
using the
because she's trying
extreme
to pander to
examples, huh?
That's why they have Hillary Clinton trying to what was she trying to do on live TV? The dip or something? Was she trying to do a dance move or something like
There's a
that?
there's a huge difference between
So that's
somebody trying to
pandering.
do the
That's trying to
no
get them. That's manipulation,
stop. There's a huge
right?
difference between somebody who's trying to do a dance versus somebody who's doing a dog whistle, right? There's a huge difference because the implications are very different. A dog whistle, like uh uh pretty much doing a racist signal that's not saying, hey, I'm racist, but doing something the equivalent that's not as explicit as doing the worst thing, right? CRT is a dog whistle, right? It's pretty much one of those things is like, hey, this is something that I know you didn't care about until we scared you about it, but we know what your real issue is. You don't want white people to feel bad, right? About racism. So we'd rather not talk about it, right? So that's a dog whistle, right? And there's a huge difference between doing that, changing the school structure and changing how people can interact with history versus an old white lady having some hot sauce in her purse. It's
To me,
very different. And the
the old white
implications
lady.
are different.
To me, the old white lady with hot sauce in her purse and Hillary Clinton dancing are almost worse as far as the black community goes because that's how easy it is to manipulate us. Like you don't have to change any school structures or anything. You know what I mean? You just gotta nay nay on TV and we're with you. You know what I
Because
mean?
you
We'll
know
vote for you.
why? You know why? You know why they do that? You know why? I don't know what you mean
To
by
manipulate
worse.
the
I don't know
masses.
what you mean by worse because hot sauce is not worse than erasing Black history,
They do
right?
that to manipulate
It's
the
not
masses.
worse. It's not
And
worse. I don't care what you
you
say.
said yourself, they don't teach critical race theory and early on in school, right? That's a college level course.
Exactly.
So
So what is their equivalent to critical race theory? What are they trying to remove from school? And it's in the language. I'll pull up his bill. Like it's in the language of the bill. It says something about subjects that make students uncomfortable. Right. So hold on.
I could see. I mean, definitely race would be one of those subjects, right? Like there are certain taboos that you don't touch on just in normal conversation, let alone in the classroom setting, where like it
It's
causes
annoying.
it causes ruffles, feathers to ruffle, right? Like so, like religion is one,
So
race,
it's
politics.
clever. It's clever oppression, right? It's the same thing Jim Crow was, right? Like it's all these rules that come up, huh?
I said Jumpin' Jim Crow. Shout out to my man Francis. We were listening to Jumpin' Jim Crow the other day at work, man.
Cool.
You know, Jumpin' Jim Crow is a song, man.
Nope.
One of them old white spirituals they used to sing back in the day. You know, it was Jump Jim Crow. You know what I'm saying? Jim Crow was a song, bro. Like
it was a song. You know what else it was?
Dixie.
It was an entire power structure that was used to oppress black folk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't know,
that's
man.
exactly what the song was about. It was about
Yeah,
black people.
I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, the point I was talking about was like that Jim Crow laws weren't explicitly like they weren't all explicitly racist, but they were setting up structures where if you didn't have certain criteria, you were subject to harassment, right? Like so, for example, some of the old voting laws, right? Some of the old voting laws, the way they kept black people from voting were things like poll taxes, right? Were things like reading tests, right? Were things like you had to prove that your grandfather was an American citizen, right? Even though being a black person, your grandfather was a slave, right? So they weren't American citizens. So sorry, you can't vote, right? Stuff like that. Those were the things. Like it's not explicitly no, you can't vote because you black. It's hey, they make us a little bit uncomfortable. Maybe you shouldn't go somewhere else, right? Or maybe we should just avoid this. You don't have to vote. Come on, like be reasonable. Be reasonable, sir. Your grandfather wasn't a landowner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So stuff like that. That's how they do it, D. Like it's not just like that's the dog whistle. Like it's stuff like that that they use to manipulate. Huh?
You saying that's why they do it to manipulate us?
That's how they change. That's how they remove. That's why slavery becomes indentured servitude in the textbook.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, they try to change
because right. That's why like
it
they remove books like The Bluest Eye or what was it? Steph posted in the chat earlier. To Kill a Mockingbird. That's why they removed To Kill a Mockingbird. I don't know if you ever read that book, but
well, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? Like we're saying that I know this is going to be divisive. We're saying that they're taking, they say that slavery turns to indentured servitude. But I mean, we also removed statues that were put up historically to represent something that was deemed as racist and bigoted,
Statues in the classrooms?
We were fine with those. We were fine with
statues in the classrooms?
I mean, in the classroom, those were in the public setting, and we removed
public. Statues in the public yard where everybody has to be there, right?
Right.
So if you got if it was a statue
which one is
Hitler,
worse? I mean, one is in a classroom that everybody can't see. One is in public that everybody can see. Like we didn't even know what those statues meant until they brought it up. That's
didn't.
Manipulation. That's manipulation.
Well, hey D. Turns out that the propaganda worked, D. Hey, D, the reason you didn't know is because the propaganda worked. Because our whole lives, we've been told that the Confederacy weren't necessarily the bad guys. They were just misunderstood.
I don't remember hearing that. I thought the Confederacy was always the bad guys.
So guess who the statues were of?
Well, I didn't know they were of Confederate soldiers until somebody said, "Hey,
you didn't know who the Confederate soldiers were." Because they didn't tell you that they were the bad guys, D. Like that's the propaganda, man. Hey, that's it. Like you didn't know because you didn't learn that in classes.
Right.
So if you know your history, then you realize, oh, this guy was a goddamn slave master overseer, right? This guy was fighting actively to keep black folk in slavery. And so because of that, why do I have to walk my dog in a park and see this guy being put up as a reverential person we should aspire to be like? Like, why? Nah, that's ridiculous, man. This guy is a tyrant. He's a tyrant. We should get him down. And so they have.
I was telling y'all in the chat, my son was learning about Thomas Jefferson and not Abraham Lincoln, but George Washington, all the early fathers in the Revolutionary War. And I'm like, I'm just looking at this shit through some hypocritical ass glasses now. Like, George Washington, I told my son, if George Washington was standing in front of me and you, okay, he would not like us. He would not think we were equal to him. You know what I mean? But you turn and you see everything is George Washington. He's on our money. He's idolized. He's lifted as a hero. And he was clearly a bad man, right? He was a bad person. But, I guess we just need a revamp of our whole school system.
Oh no. See, there's a difference with that there, even too. Like, I understand why we should be learning about Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. Yeah, we should, right? But General Robert E. Lee, what was his role in history? He was a shitty general until he became the Confederate general. Like, nobody gave him. He wasn't shit until he started actively. And that's the thing. He wasn't nothing until they conceded from the United States. And we learned about this guy. Like, he had some, like, he was probably a reasonable person.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he might have been reasonable, but they still wouldn't have liked black folk. Robert E. Lee.
Even still, that's the only reason he was known, was because he fought against the United States. And he's not taught of as a hero. We have Jefferson Lee is a goddamn road. It's a school. It's all these things. The statues of him all over Virginia, right? But he wasn't on the right side of history. He was the bad guy.
I guess
in World War II, he would have been on the Nazi side. Like, he was on the wrong side of history, and we learned about him like he should be held up as equivalent. And that's the propaganda, right? That's it. We don't know because they ain't tell us. So you got to find it on your own, right? And so say they treated the Confederates like they should have been treated. They should have been tried for treason and well, they literally seceded from the United States.
True, but
is that not
power? You're already decimated from a however many years long war. Like, you can't just go around like, exile and become back to being members of society. At that point, like, we need.
And here we are with roads and schools and statues of these same jerks all over our country and especially in the South. And also they were used. A lot of those statues ain't but 30, 40 years old, man.
Think about it though. So
them statues weren't put up in 1865. Them statues ain't but 30, 40 years old.
It depends on what side of history you're on to who's the right and wrong, right? So, like, to the people who put up those statues, the people that they're idolizing in those statues, they were the ones who were right? Like, Youngkin's supporter base,
they were wrong.
The white supremacists. To them, what if they want to have a class in their schools where they have they learn about the white race theory or something, right? Like, they learn about all the great white men in history who were not being taught in public schools, and they wanted to have a course.
Isn't that what history is? The great white men in history?
True. But just say they wanted to have an explicit course to teach about these men that were on these statues that were being taken down, right?
I wouldn't support it.
Would that be their right to do that? It'd be their right.
I wouldn't support it. No, that would be ridiculous. Why would you do that?
Yeah, we wouldn't care because to us, they were on the wrong side of history, but to them, they're on the right side of history. What I mean?
They're on the wrong side of history on both sides. They lost. They were wrong, and they lost.
I don't want to sound like I'm defending white supremacists, but I'm just saying everybody has the right to. Everybody has a right to, to their own opinion, and I guess what they want.
But does everybody have a right to teach your opinion in public school?
If you go to public school, you are at the whim and wishes of whatever the school system deems your child.
The school board has a plan, right? The school board has a plan. We put them in place to do that. Like, okay. But I would argue that And even still, even up to this point, like every black person knows, you have to educate your own kids in Black history because
Oh,
they ain't
definitely.
gonna teach it fairly.
No,
But now we're at the point where they are going past that. They're going past just kind of ignoring or brushing over slavery.
to not
They're going to be heading to the point where they're not going to talk about slavery, or they're going to completely lie about slavery, right? Or and not even just slavery, but Black history in general. Like there's already obviously it's probably Mississippi, but they're always talking about like they don't want to do Black history in the state no more. It's like, sure, of
uh,
course, you're Mississippi,
what the states
right?
still have the
But where
Confederate
does all
flag.
this?
Oh, no, I think they got rid of
But
that.
where is this all the coming from, right? Like, why this resurgence of these openly like now openly racist and scared people, right? Where did it all come from? Why is it all coming up now, man? Is it because of
And I
Podesta emails? With no, it's not. It's because of fucking Trump, man. Like, it's not
guess,
because of any
no,
crazy
it was there.
conspiracy theory.
It was there.
It
Wait,
was there, but who
always
pandered to
Bush.
them, D?
We knew Bush was
But
racist.
who?
Everybody knew Bush was racist. He just didn't say
Everybody.
the racist shit that Trump said. That's all. He just didn't do it. He didn't have Twitter. But we knew Bush didn't like black. I mean, Kanye West said the shit. You know what I mean? So
We
it's been
know
there.
that.
We knew.
But here's the thing:
It's just for some reason Trump is
is a
polarized.
difference between not saying it and proving it outright in front of the entire country. Because
Who do you
guess who that incentivizes?
the
It
person who tells you
incentivizes
you
the
got a booger in your
racist
nose?
people,
Hey,
huh?
who do you appreciate more? The person who tells you you got a booger in your nose, or the person who knows the booger's there but don't tell you?
The person
I
who
don't
knows the
think the
boogers
person
and
who
don't
tells
tell
you.
me. That's what I
Yeah,
appreciate more.
yeah, you got a
You know
booger right
why?
there.
Because
That's
we
what
all
Trump
know there's a
did.
race
Hey,
issue.
a
But
booger.
guess what?
Fuck a booger.
The booger's gonna get handled eventually, right? The
Yeah,
booger's gonna get handled eventually. It's gonna
we'll
be
see that.
gone, right? But now this person up here, and not only, but here's the difference in your analogy. Here's the issue in your analogy. That person's not just saying, "Hey, bro, there's a booger in your nose." The guy's like, "Hey, here's another booger, and have another booger. Here, let me put some more boogers in your nose,
Right.
right? Because I like that booger. I'm gonna add some more to that booger, right? So you're gonna walk around with a face full of boogers, fucking around with this person. That's what you're talking about. That's what
But see,
Trump was. He was in that joke talking
also,
about, hey, here's an issue here. And so you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna applaud this issue. We're gonna give some life to this issue. We're gonna make this issue bigger and bigger. That's what Trump did.
yeah.
So it's not just like, hey, you have an issue, you might want to get rid of it, flick it up. Nah, he didn't do that. This
Whether
nigga
you
added some,
agree with Trump
he
or
added
not,
some snot and shit and all the kinds of stuff to that booger.
whether you're a Trump supporter or not, and clearly we are not, but and I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a Hillary supporter either, me personally. Um,
I'm not a
but
Hillary
you have to
supporter. You
admit,
know
he
that.
was one of the most polarizing presidents that we've ever had.
To what
He
end?
just was, man. He commanded some of the most attention of any. I mean, when they had that
So,
protest in
AD,
D.C.,
to what end?
polarizing to what end?
Yeah, like why? Like why?
Uh,
Like for what? To
I
what?
don't
To
know. Maybe
what?
his
Did
celebrity.
it?
He
Did
was
it
already
help
a celebrity.
anybody?
Maybe just his
Did
celebrity. He was already a celebrity
it
prior to
help the
becoming
country?
president.
Did it
I
help
mean,
the country?
you can say the same thing about Bush. How did Bush help the country? He plunged us into a war.
Well,
There
you
was
the one saying
nobody
Trump is the most
most
polarizing.
polarizing.
Like, so what? Who
He is.
cares?
Like, I mean, from an
And
attention standpoint, you know what I mean?
and
Like, you might not like him, but you listen to what he says, or because you don't, because
because
he's
he's wrong.
polarizing. You're drawn to what he says. Oh, Trump said this. You
Because
know what I
he'll
mean?
say some dumb shit and somebody's got to correct
There you
him.
go. That's the polarizing part. We weren't
Is
used to
that
presidents
well?
saying
Okay,
dumb
so
shit.
what's the value of being polarizing?
It turns you into celebrity, and
He was
celebrity
already a
is
celebrity.
is powerful. I
He was
mean,
already a celebrity.
If Kanye West stands up and says something, a lot of people talk about
Every president is a celebrity.
it.
Every
True,
last one.
but not to the level of Donald Trump.
So
I
what's the
mean,
point of being polarizing?
Biden is nowhere close to Donald Trump's
What
level
is
of
the point of being
polarization.
polarizing?
Even
But what's the
Obama
point?
wasn't as polarizing
Answer my
as
question, man. What's the
oh,
point of being polarizing, D?
Obama was charming, right?
Who cares?
He wasn't as polarizing because he said the right things. You know what I mean? Like
But
you're
what's the
always
point,
drawn to
man?
a bad boy. Like in sports, you're drawn to the bad boy. In politics, it's the bad boy, the one who's going against the grain. Even in the
Mm-hmm.
movies, like the gunslinger always wins. You know what I mean? Like, is so you can sit there and repeat what's the point of being polarizing if you want. It
And you're
doesn't
not gonna answer
deny
it.
the fact that he was one of the most attention-wise polarizing presidents that we've ever had. Like everybody had
I
an opinion on
disagree.
what Trump said. I mean, there's a large majority of people
I
that didn't
disagree,
care what
man.
Trump said.
I think Biden is more polarizing, man.
No way.
No, man, people hate Biden.
Dude, remember when well, I mean, they don't
But hey,
everybody likes him. We'll put it like that.
Huh?
When they had that protest in DC.
Nah, everybody hates Biden, man. Nobody likes Biden on either side, man. Because he's weak, he's boring, he's lame. All he does is like him and Ha, he's getting beat by his own party. He can't put any pressure on his own people, man.
He wasn't boring. You know what I mean?
Huh?
Trump was celebrity.
Oh, you mean entertaining, D. You mean entertaining.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying polarizing.
Okay.
Like his policies.
So you're saying Trump is the most entertaining president?
Celebrity.
Yeah, he was entertaining. That's true. You know? But I don't see any value in being entertaining if you don't do anything positive.
You know, at the end of the day, you know, we know how I feel about the presidency. You're a joiner, so you join the system. You know what I mean?
We're all joiners.
At least be entertaining, I guess. You know, it was like, you know, I don't necessarily hate Trump. I just think he was pandering to his audience, the people that voted for him, and that's where a lot of the bigoted stuff comes from. I mean, you know, we know from like growing up in the hip hop scene that Trump was featured in a lot of movies and videos, and people rapped about him. I mean, Ghostface had him in a couple verses, and
because he was rich.
Exactly, and people aspired to be like him. I mean, Trump Towers, and you want to be a businessman, a huge tycoon, and real estate mogul, and all that. And then he became the president and pandered to a racist audience, and people started hating him. But one thing you can't say is that he didn't command your attention. Way more than Biden.
But who cares?
But I mean, to Youngkin, hey, God bless you, man. I don't know what to say. I will say, as far as Black people, like you said earlier, we have to figure out ways to keep our kids knowing the truth and to know what happened, and that's always why I don't agree with the statues coming down and stuff like that. Only because I want my son to know that this country, they thought it was okay to put that there. They didn't think enough about you that they were going to honor this person that hated you. They didn't think you were a person.
Why did I put a statue up of something positive for everybody?
Because then you're not
like Frederick Douglass,
history of it, right?
Or like Abraham Lincoln.
So you would have no
or
problem
like
if they teach about
put a statue of
racist person, right?
You put a statue of Elvis, man. Who cares, man? Like, why the guy who seceded from the Union and tried to fight the United States?
Money every day.
Who?
You spend the money of a guy that seceded from the Union every single day. They got pictures of presidents who were, racist, who were slave owners. I mean,
Well, hey, D, guess what?
You got to break it all the way
down. I don't know
who
you're talking about specifically, D, but I agree that we should remove that as well. Like, I'm consistent here. I'm being consistent here. Like, we should definitely remove that as well.
Yeah, but there's no clamoring for it. There's no push for that.
Which bill are you talking about?
We care more about a statue.
Which dollar bill are you talking about?
What do you mean? Any one of them? The $1 bill? The
$1 bill has
named after racist white people every single day. I mean,
yeah, we should stop that, right?
Yeah, you should.
Do you not agree?
But if you're not going to, then
no. But I'm saying, well, we should, right? But we should.
I mean, you should.
So how do you? I guess is the question.
Are they going to do it?
Is a process of removing stuff like that being like, hey, it's there, shrug. What can you do? Or is the process of removing stuff like that, like, hey, we make noise and we say, hey, we don't like this, and we get enough people supporting us and backing that idea to be able to remove it,
but
right?
Because it's something white,
like they've been talking about getting Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill forever. I don't know what that's going on with, but that's a conversation that's never happened before. It's a little bit at a time, man, right? And right now we backsliding. And that's the issue right here with this critical race theory, because we backsliding, right? We're letting them whitewash what's already been whitewashed. We wouldn't let them clear it out now.
I think the thing is, see, it's the same as white people, right? Like, if this was a white issue only, we wouldn't care because it's
not a white issue only.
And if it was a black issue only, which most of this is, right? Removing those statues is a black issue. right? I don't think there was a ton of white people clamoring to take those things down. You know what I mean? Because
And
nobody really
well,
paid attention to it.
I
It was
don't
just
think that's
at the
right,
end of
man.
the
Like
bridge.
it's not
So,
removing
so,
the
so,
people,
so I'm
removing the
saying,
statue of the person who was an
I'm
enemy
saying
of the
though,
United States. He was an enemy of white people and black people.
who? Wait a minute, who was?
Robert E. Lee, who we talking about?
Was an
Who we
enemy
talking
of
about?
white people. The person who
And black
defended
people.
the country that seceded from the United States and formed their own country where they had slaves. Was it he? He didn't like white people.
Well, guess who? Guess who was he fighting?
Oh, he was fighting more white people.
Yeah, the United States white people,
I mean, they were both
enemy of the white people.
to say that one was good over the other. There were racist white people in the North too. The whole system was racist. Like there was no.
I'm not
It wasn't
saying they
like we were
weren't
just
racist,
escaping.
man. I didn't even say that. I didn't
Yeah,
even
it's
say
not like
that.
we were just escaping to the
I'm
North.
talking
We were
about
just
the guy. I'm talking about the guy who left the country
right.
and in the states who was like, yeah, we're leaving the
So if they
country.
if they if
And
they
the
had
reason they put in their letter as to why they left the country because they wanted to keep their slaves.
if they had a Robert E. Lee course, college level course that they were teaching, right, and there was a push to take the Robert E. Lee course out of classrooms, right?
You know
You
what
wouldn't
critical
care as
race
much as
theory is?
you wouldn't care as much as
Are
you
you
care about
comparing a
critical race
Robert
theory.
E. Lee course to critical race theory?
You wouldn't. I'm saying that the principle of it, you wouldn't care about that Robert E. Lee course because you don't care about Robert E. Lee,
Is
right?
there a theory behind it?
So,
Is
so
there
to
some
the
kind of
same
support?
people who don't support critical race theory being in schools, they don't care about critical race theory. They don't. It's not their issue. It's not their issue.
Right,
Like Robert E. Lee
right.
is not your issue. Critical race theory is not their issue. You know
Uh,
what I mean?
what do you mean Robert E. Lee is not my issue? Explain
You're
that.
bringing up Robert E. Lee. I'm comparing a Robert E. Lee course to them teaching critical race theory in schools. What if they had a Robert E. Lee course, right?
What would
And
that course
saying that they
entail?
wanted to take the so there were some people saying they want to take this
What is a
course
Robert
out
E.
of
Lee
school,
course?
but you wouldn't care, right? Because it's
What
Robert
what
E.
what is
Lee.
it?
Juice, it's hypothetical. Juice, it's nothing really.
No, but the content matters. What is a critical race theory course and why it has to be taught? Right? What is it?
What do you mean? It's a college level course that is being taught to people in school, right? So
But
you're
what is
saying,
it
but
about?
is it
We read it
specifically?
earlier. We read it earlier, right? It's about
See, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying what the Robert E. Lee course would be about and what critical race theory would be about. I'm
also
saying
critical race
I'm
theory is
saying
nothing
the
about
actual
black
course
or white
itself.
in the name.
I'm saying the actual course itself.
It's just
You
race.
wouldn't care if they wanted to take out the Robert E. Lee course because you don't care about Robert E. Lee. All right.
Why? What does
So
that
so so,
mean?
so I'm comparing that to it to say that we all pick sides, right? So some people do support them not teaching critical race theory in schools, right? So you're entitled to the way you feel. Those people are entitled to
I
the way
don't
they
no
feel.
no nobody's saying
Now,
they
I
should teach
agree that they
critical
should
race
teach.
theory.
I agree that they should
Nobody's
teach it in
saying
school.
that. Nobody's saying they are. They should.
Nobody's saying they
Nobody
should.
is saying they should be teaching critical race theory in K through 12.
So you don't
Nobody
think?
is saying that.
No, I'm not saying that they should teach it in K through 12. I'm saying that you said it was a college level course. You
It's a
said critical
college
race theory,
level course.
right? So what if the Robert E. Lee class was a college level course as well? You know what I
Well,
mean?
here's the issue, right? All right. So if there was a Robert E. Lee class, there's a college level course, I don't care. But if people were using that Robert E. Lee course to say, hey, we need to take this out of K through 12 because they're making kids, I don't know, name something ridiculous, learn how to look up porn on the internet, right? This Robert
Or
E. Lee
learn about
course,
Confederate
whatever.
theory, whatever. Right.
Oh yeah, say this Robert E. level course is making them learn that we should all secede and keep slaves, right? I guess I'm trying to figure out the analogy.
It's a
Like
little extreme.
all I'm saying is that like if they're saying this class that isn't being taught is being taught because we don't want them to teach another thing, then that's a problem, right? Like they're using critical race theory as a catch-all phrase, as a phrase that they're going to be like, everything that we have a concern with, we're going to throw it all in this under this phrase of critical race theory, right? And even though critical race theory isn't being taught in K through 12, we're going to say it is, and you can't remove it because it's not being taught. But we're going to remove these elements that we like common people in society and the school board and everybody else that's been taught. We think it should be there, but they want to remove those other teaching that might be uncomfortable, right? That might make white children uncomfortable because it talks about race, right? I think that's ridiculous. It's not about being comfortable or uncomfortable in class. It's about learning history and being able to look at it through a lens, right?
But is Robert E. Lee's history not history?
I didn't say it wasn't history.
So if they taught that, you like if they
It's,
taught that, you
they
wouldn't
do
be
teach it
passionate about it as you are about critical race theory.
If they were taking out, I don't know, if they were taking out like say this Robert E. Lee class was saying, hey, we need to take out I don't know, world history, right? And you're like, wait, Robert E. Lee is not being taught in K through 12. And they're like, yes, it is. And because of it, we need to remove world history. We need to remove all the lessons about China and all the lessons about the Native Americans, right? We need to remove all of this because all that's Robert E. Lee history. And we're like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. It's not in there. We should teach people about world history and the Native Americans. They're like, no, you don't understand. It makes people feel bad. All those non-Native Americans feel bad that they weren't Native Americans. All those non-Chinese they feel bad because they weren't Asian. So we have to take it out because it'll make people feel better. And everybody looking at this is like, that's crazy as hell. You see what I'm saying now?
Right.
Like, and so that's what they're doing critical race theory. They're like, hey, you're teaching this. They're like, no, we're not. Yes, you are. And because of that, we have to remove lessons about freedom. I don't know. I don't even know who they taught about in the school, for real talk. Right. Like Frederick Douglass. We got to remove lessons about Frederick Douglass because he spoke truth to power. We have to further whitewash MLK, right? We're not going to let you listen to the whole speech anymore, right? That's not going to be a thing we do in class anymore. We're going to remove that. To Kill a Mockingbird, or bring that up again because that's most ridiculous. Because there was a white people who were fighting for the innocence of a black man, right? But no, it makes white people feel bad. It makes them feel bad that other white people were hating and being evil and hateful towards this man. So we have to remove it because it makes them feel bad. And that's not how history should be taught. We have to teach that the Nazis were bad and they killed they did a mass genocide on the Jews. And we can't two sides that. We have to tell them that happened and it was bad.
Well, see, back to what you were saying. I'm not defending Nazis or white supremacists or anybody, but it's only bad from one point of view. To them, they weren't bad.
But the other point of view is useless.
Who put up those statues,
the other point of view is bullshit.
So don't they have a right to have a say?
You have to be able to put valuations on things. You have to be able to put a valuation on things.
Comes from what point
Otherwise, everything is meaningless.
Some people, Robert
if you can't put a value, if you can't put a value on his actions, then everything is meaningless.
I feel you. I'm on your side. I think everything should be taught.
Yeah, I get it. You're playing devil's advocate. I get you, but like, and I'm answering this is my retort. Is like, my retort is, you have to say this is effed up when we don't want to do this. You know why? Because it hurts people needlessly.
Right.
For your benefit, so it makes you feel better, you're gonna hurt people. Like I think that's kind of like, you know, how it has to go down.
I think that's the way the world turns, man. That's unfortunately that's a bad mark of mankind is that we hurt others to make ourselves feel better, you know, because it makes us feel better. Or I mean,
yeah, but hey, if you don't learn the history, it's definitely going to repeat itself, right? Like, that's a deterrent of stuff like that happening. When people know it happened, realize why it happened, and work to point out indications that lead towards it happening again. People ignore history. That's why it happens again, right?
Yeah, man.
Like right now, everything in history right now, we talked about Civil War. We could talk about the next podcast, but like all the markers are there. The polarization, just financial interests. It's there, man.
I think except for it, I don't think if the Civil War, if it was to come to Civil War, I don't know if everybody's ready for the bloodshed part of it. I think it'd be more subtle. It'd be like a financial war, or maybe you know, I don't think people are gonna just down to run and kill people in the streets or something, you know.
I think it's gonna be terrorism. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think nobody's gonna be shooting out in the streets. I think it's gonna be terrorism. People gonna blow up trains. People gonna blow up buses.
I
People gonna
hope
blow up this and that. Like they're gonna try to plant bombs everywhere. That's how it's gonna go down. That's how guerrilla warfare. Because here's the thing, and also it depends, right? In what side is blowing what up. I think is gonna depend on who's the head of the military at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like my thing is, I feel like if the tipping point hit, whoever, whether they deploy the military or not, is going to be the deciding factor. But anyway, this is the top for another time. It's late.
Yeah,
We should
man.
probably call it.
But yeah, I feel you, man. You know, I guess in closing, man, yeah, I mean, I feel you on everything you were saying. I'm just saying that there's, to each side has its heroes and its villains, and our side, because we, make one person heroic and the other person villainous, it could be a total flip flop for the other side. And that's why these guys like Youngkin and Trump and all that. That's why they get support. I mean, they don't really just come out of nowhere, and he's not trying to take critical race theory out of schools for no reason. Somebody's being appeased or satisfied with the move. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. It's the way the political system works in America, 2022, I guess. But yeah, it's been a good cast, man.
Yeah, for sure. Damn it! I knew this was gonna piss me off. Now I'm pissed off. Anyway, It's all good.
Hey, man, look, next cast.
Yeah, you're talking about.
We got to get that
racism is the same as hot sauce.
Hey, we got to get that Family Guy joint up and running next time. I'm telling you, sure. You listen to the first minute. That shit was funny as hell, bro.
Yep. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll probably start off with that, John, too.
Yeah,
we should end on something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm telling you, that would have been funny. It's been funny. You already know Family Guy's funny off the jump. And then what they were talking about, he was like, "You mean that guy who has his pants sagging on, or without?" Like he was just talking about, man. Yeah, it was funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch that jump. Well, we're gonna get it.
But yeah, man, good cast, man. Good to join you again for round 2, episode 2.
Next week, we're gonna talk about Q-anon Shaman and how crazy he is.
All right.
All right, guys.
He's definitely saying
a little crazy.
All right, guys.
Yep. And man, we need to do an outro. All right, peace. End broadcast.
Ow.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I think it'll work. Wait. End the broadcast. It's end broadcast.